Hey guys, 15 minutes to go. Welcome in. We will get the main event everyone's been waiting for in anticipation coming up here in about 15 minutes. We'll get you set with what you need to know. It's the first time, as we were saying, if you're with us in the pre-market this morning, it's the first time in a long time, as long as I can remember anyways, there is still some uncertainty as to what is going to happen, not only at 2 p.m., but of course at 2:30 when we hear from Fed Chair Powell. Even sitting here right now, I was just looking at the Fed prediction tool, 60-40. About 60-40, whether or not it's 50 basis points. I mean, the certainty is we're going to get a cut. Whether it's 50 basis points or 25 basis points remains to be seen. A couple of things of note here. We'll get Neil and Sean's opinion on that and more coming up, but a couple of things of note as we get closer to 2 o'clock. We'll bring this back to what is expected. So the forecast quarter point according to this website, I mean, it depends on where you look. You're going to see a wide range, as I mentioned, but quarter point, 5.25. Last, of course, was 5.5. We'll get this version's update here. And then we're also going to get, as we said this morning, the economic predictions. This is another one of those meetings where we get a new dot plot and we get to see what they think is going to happen 1, 2, 3, 5 years out as far as inflation and the actual Fed rate is concerned. So with that said, about 10 minutes, 12 minutes to go here, guys. What are you looking at?
Yeah, welcome everybody. You know it's going to be interesting. It's just, look, we haven't had a Fed decision like this in quite some time where you don't know what we're going to get. There's no budge between 25-50. I think the highest is 65%. It's been down at 61% at the lowest, so still in that 2/3 range. And obviously, you're having a bit of an inside day. The NASDAQ, for now, is a little bit flat. There's some strong names out there that I'm looking at if we actually do get some kind of a bump upside and start breaking out. Apple up 2 points today. I feel like if we're going to get a rally here, this is a nice little culprit, because even if you go the rubber band trade, which we would usually do, that's the number comes out, we get the release, it's as expected, it moves one way or the other, you fade it. I'm not as inclined to immediately like that, because you have to digest the move. We're not going to get something that was expected in this moment. So the whole mean revert, I'm not sure about that at all in the first couple of minutes. I think really I'd just like to quickly join something. And I know Apple for me is a strong stock. Going to look for 220s down in here for support if we just drift down the next 10 minutes or break out said top. I think the chip names are a good place to go if we start tanking as well. And I will have my eyes on IWM. Haven't really been it's one of those names, sometimes you look for something where on a Fed day you want to express a trade. But if we do get a 50 basis point cut, I think I'm going to want to hop on over to IWM to see if it can catch a rally off that. Small caps would like that a little bit.
I like the look. They're going to plug in these AirPods, although I think they're pretty fully charged. This is the update right here, 59.41. So we won't get any more closer to 50-50 than this probably. Yeah. So I would say, like, if you hear half a point, I actually think the market sells off, which is why I'm short right now the NASDAQ. And I think if you hear quarter a point, then I think we have a potential to go continue a little bit higher. The reason why I think that is they've been pretty steadfast in what they've wanted to do. And I thought that, the talk was, looking at quarter the whole time. And I just, they were gradually going to start to cut it. I feel like if they do 50, that's more than gradual. So that might spook the market. I don't know. I don't know if they're late, if they're early. At the end of the day, we just trade, and here we go. Now we're short, so let's see if it works out. We had Brian Shannon on. We've had many different heads come on and talk all about where they thought this rate was going, where they thought the market was going. And you know what? At the end of the day, the S&P's at all-time highs. Everything's at highs. So from my experience on Fed, you get a move down. Powell comes on, talks all dovish, you get a move up. Powell leaves the podium, you get a move down. It's been pretty much like that. You guys remember a couple of times ago, maybe even last time where we had Apple, we were just waiting. And I was like, when is he off? When is he off? When is he off? And then we were layering into the short. Then all of a sudden, and it's about a half hour or so, boom, goes a dynamite all the way to the downside. So we'll sit in these queues. We did get stopped out there. We just went once it broke 67, and then I realized the high of the day was 67.08. So we had a little bit of a short there, took some profit, got stopped out of a little bit, and then just realized, hey, let's try to get something into the short side as we get ready for the close, for the release. So now less than 10 minutes, 59% to 41%. As Brendan and Neil both mentioned, it's been 4 years since we had any kind of a cut and any, sort of a decisive shift in Fed policy. So the cut, Brendan had that stat. I don't know if he still has it. And that was that bar chart that showed the market after cuts. And it was more positive than negative.
Yeah, and the strongest were utilities and it was utilities and something else were the two strongest in the 4 months after, I believe it was. After. I'm going to quickly ask this for you.
I just want to tell Atul there in the chat. Thank you, Sebastian, for that talk about. He just says, will we be providing live updates on the Fed?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, very much so live. There's no other place, Atul, that you're going to see live NASDAQ quotes right on the screen as the Fed drops. Plus, we have Brendan on the desk and Sharif on there analyzing the written and spoken word when Jerome Powell comes.
Yes.
There it is. Yes, bang, let's go.
He'll say a lot.
Here comes a nice little move down in the market. We just took a little bit of a bid. All right, Neil, what were you going to say about the 8 ball there?
All I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to ask 8 ball. I'm going to ask it because right now it's favoring 50 points. So are we going to get a 50 base point cut? Shout out to our friend and viewer, Mr. Westermeyer, for the custom 8 ball that says, why not ask Perplexity?
It's true. I mean, you might as well. I mean,
if I ask Perplexity, it's just going to give the answer that we already got. So thank you for the 8 ball.
Yep.
ChatGPT is just going to simply say 50 basis point cut because that's what the odds are favoring. So the 8 ball seems to think we're going to get 50. I think they should do 25, but should and
poll?
Will are different. Yeah, we should have a poll up there. You know what? We should have when people just throw 1s or 2s, with 2 being 50 basis point and then 1 being 25 basis points. So in the chat, just throw it up. If you think we're getting 50, just put a 2 in there.
Do a poll. You're right. Let's do that for now.
Let's do that really quickly because we only have about 7
minutes to go.
There's
only 8 minutes left. All right.
Fabian is doing a poll.
So right now, we're short, right? I mean, we could talk about this. I'll probably be trading the futures, maybe not individual names, but let's take another bid out right here at 50 on the TQQ. So we are short right now, the NASDAQ. I don't want to be in this forever there. 1s and 2s everywhere. We'll get that poll up there where we can. It'd be kind of cool if we could just automatically tally all of those. But great idea there to get the chat going. A lot of 1s. Do you remember what 1 was?
It looks 1 is just a simple 25 basis point, and 2 would be.
Yeah. The poll's coming up.
Oh, it's a lot of 1s.
I like all the action in the 1s.
A lot of 1s.
All right, so we're getting out. So again, if it's 25 basis points, I think the market holds course. It's been rallying the last couple days on that expectation of 50 points. So I don't know. I'm kind of like back and forth with what the market will do. But the best part about it is we already have our stop at the high of the day here for NASDAQ. If that goes out and comes through, boom, we're out of there. We have some bids lower. So if we're right and the market comes back in, we should get swept up on those bids. I'm looking to trade this. We're in it right now. That's my plan on the TQs. I think it's a foolproof one, man. We could easily. I think the risk to reward is right here. Like if I'm not willing to risk right now 40 cents and or not even 40 cents and get out at the high of the day for what I think could be a huge flush down $1 and change, I mean, I'm in the wrong business. So let's wait to see what winds up happening here. We're in it right now. I like the odds here. I'm going to select.
We're the exact opposite of the money markets.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. I'm going to select 50 basis points right now. Is it 60-40 the other way? So here we go, man. That should be a good one. Thank you, everybody, for filling that out right now. So, all right, let's go, man. 4 minutes left. Any other thoughts on the desk, I guess, before we go? There's only 5 minutes now.
We were just talking about going back to when this whole cycle started to the upside, how things got rolling. And if you remember, I just had to double check because I couldn't remember. But on the upside, I mean, this has no correlation, but on the upside, it was a 1/4 point first, and then we went 75-75, then 50-50. So, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, but I mean, I think he's shown that he's willing to be cautious and patient here. I mean, they're already, depending on who you talk to, they're already behind, if you will, in this cycle. So it's really a toss-up, I think.
And that's the thing, right? So does he have the thinking mentality where, hey, let me do 25. If I need to do 50 next time, I have the option of doing 50, because that's kind of what I felt he did first time around. I think we were printing a 6 or 7 handle when he did that 25 bips. And so he kind of gave himself the option.
On inflation,
exactly.
For anyone wondering. So whether or not it's going to be 25 or 50 remains to be seen. But guys, I think the more interesting aspect is here, and Sean, I mean, I just said to Sharif off camera there, I like the short. Is there a scenario, can you paint the narrative, for the positive side here? Like if it's 50, you can start talking about, maybe the economy is not as good as everyone's thinking, and therefore they need to hurry up with this to, smooth the landing out. But if it's a quarter point, is that enough at this point? So is there a positive narrative?
To 50?
I mean, no rate cut might be positive. No, I see both sides downside. I mean, we just talked about that. I'm looking at the market. I'm looking at what the Fed's going to do. What's their mandate to try to have a soft landing? Well, I mean, we have full unemployment right now. We have inflation that's coming back down, into a level that they've talked about is accommodating at least. The dollar's in a little bit, protection to the downside. Gold's at highs, so I feel like the dollar and the gold trade is kind of equal right there. The housing market, we saw XHB and all that kind of start to go back up to the upside as mortgage rates come right back down now. So I feel like the Fed has kind of done that job. They've guided us where they need to be. I mean, if any of us thought in September that we would be market all-time highs this year, I feel like we've already passed a lot of analysts' expectations for the year. So for me, I feel like we sell off. 50 basis points to me means panic, and there might be a problem in the job market that they're trying to get ahead of. I'm not trying to outsmart everybody. I'm just trying to think of, because I'm definitely not that, just trying to think what the market might react to. And then if it's a quarter point, then, I mean, whatever. The market's flat. We've already seen in the Fed rate tool that they're kind of discounting a quarter point. It favors now to 50. So if it's a quarter, then the market might be disappointed. So I don't know. I feel like the risk is right now is being holding longs, and the market could retrace back in. But 19.7 has been a pretty key level.
And when the markets are at highs, like where's the risk usually going to be? When we're at tops like these, I think the risk is almost always going to be in the other direction. I'm surprised that the market is favoring that 50 points, because to me that seems like panic. They should be doing it slow and steady. It doesn't, like, you can do 1 1/4 to the end of the year without starting it off crazy. You can do a little bit and know where you're eventually going to get to. So we'll see. And then keep in mind, everybody, obviously when Powell hits the podium and starts answering questions, we'll have that as well. So the entire time Brendan will be giving us updates. We'll be giving you guys updates. This is a place to be. We're going to be trading live. And obviously, as any updates come, we'll let you know. Usually, you're going to get that prepared statement at 2:30, and then he'll take some questions after the fact. But with only 2 minutes to go, I am expecting you're going to have kind of a breakaway move. Like I'm favoring Nvidia short if we move down, just because it's been red. It's got a very definable range in here, and if we somehow break it out to the upside, I think Apple is probably the safest thing to play into. But Nvidia down 0.5 point here already. It's just chilling out at VWAP. So diddling in the middle is at least as long as I've been looking at it here. And for anybody that's in the chat, I've seen a lot of people say, well, what if they don't do any cut? That would be funny, but that is almost such a zero probability. That would be the most foolish thing that they could do, because Powell has not been a shock the market. It's been lead by letting people have an understanding of what you're thinking and where you're going. And we've been knowing that we're going to get a cut. So for it to be absolutely no cut, I think this market would lose its you-know-what. It's ish if they're pricing in 2 and we don't get a cut at all. They just sell off out of complete and utter nonsensical what's happening. It's no chance that there's going to be no cut, because Powell has been very good at letting the market know at least what the intentions are, and the intentions are to start that part of the cycle. So we're going to get up to the desk for the number. Brennan will have it pretty much instantaneously there. So you're just going to hear 50 or 25, and that's what you want to key on. And then the market is going to make whatever move it's going to make. Can't control it. We just got to be here to react to it.
All right, about 30 seconds to go here. I have 2 different economic calendars in front of me. I also have an audio feed in my ear, so we're not going to miss this. If one of these fails, we have some backup. But as far as the screen is concerned, it's going to populate right here where you see these 3 dots coming in. These are the projections down here, the 1, 2, 3, and 5 year or longer projections. About 10 seconds to go here. Again, we're looking for somewhere between 5 1/4 to 5 even on the actual decision. Should be any second here. 50 basis points, guys. 50 basis point cut. Just heard coming through here. It's a little bit delayed on screen, but 50 basis point cut, bigger than the expected. Again, the expected, guys, 5 1/4. I'll bring through these predictions. Let's go over to Neil and Sean.
Wow. Apple to the long side. We actually got filled on the downside on the triple Qs. The market is heading to the upside right there, so good cut there. 50 basis point, the market goes long, and now we're 50 cents in the money on Apple. So here we go. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now. We took that Apple trade long. We knew we wanted to get that. There it goes. Let's see what happens. Could fade out. We're out of half right now of this trade. It's Apple. It's 90 cents in the money. Here goes Apple. Good trade. What you got on over there?
Oh, my goodness. So I'm into Apple, but I'll tell you, IWM was impossible. IWM IWM went haywire there. It broke out the high of the day. I crossed it, and look at it. It's like $3. IWM is going absolutely nuts. The Russell went crazy. That's what I liked IWM if we got 50. It didn't matter. You had to be in that sucker right away. So the market is absolutely loving it. I'm just going to throw over the black chart so you can see what's happening over here. This is the NASDAQ absolutely flying to the upside, but the Russell is just going haywire. You're 2 points up on the Russell and continuing to go. So Apple looking strong. 2%.
Right.
It's gone $4 up. Yeah, IWM. I mean, it's going to move like that.
Nvidia's $3 up. Wow. Good call on that one, the IWM. We are long right now on Apple. We just took a bunch of pieces out there. Let's see what winds up happening. The fade play could come in, but I don't want to fade anything right now. Nice move back up there to the upside as we go. Look what just happened to us on the TQQs. Really, we get a 66. We got a bunch of, remember we were layering our outs? That was huge. We were out. We got back in and out again on that futures play. But here comes the market right back in. I'm long down here. We've already been long down here. Let's see what winds up happening. Nice little retraceable back. We have less than half of these shares. We'll try to reload a little bit down here and hear back from Brendan. But right there, it's 50 basis points, and we're in Apple long. Been a good trade so far. Let's see where we go. What's up, B?
Individual data points don't really matter. What we need to know is on the projection side, guys, they're all to the downside. So 1, 2, 3, and longer or 5-year, all to the downside. The market itself, I just heard, futures market pricing in 100 basis points worth of cuts coming off in 2025, and then another 50 coming off in 2026. So floodgates are open, it would seem.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
All right. I mean, we're long and we are in charge right now. I mean, what a good trading day so far here, even on these futures. I'm just looking at Apple. I have targets here, 222. We'll get a piece out if it gets back up there. Then we'll try to hold the rest for new highs. That's great talk. I mean, they are in the cut cycle now, right? We talked about that, how good that's supposed to be for markets. Let's see if it is good or not. Where's our target to get out? Maybe a 221 break. That's the 50-period moving average. We got to be smart about that. So let's watch out here and not try to hold forever. Just try to trade smart. So far, so good on the Fed. 50 basis points. We get what we thought we'd get there. I know there's some people talking about a quarter. I know you had thought.
I mean, I thought there was going to be a quarter, but that was more along the lines of just what I thought you should do and what I think doesn't matter. I mean, these guys are actual economists, so that's what their job is. Apple, look, we're bouncing off 221 in here. Let's go back to Brendan. What do you have, Brendo?
Real quick, as expected, a lot has changed as far as the statement is concerned. So anything that's red essentially is either different or removed entirely. I'll work through this, guys, and find what matters.
Well, thank you for that. All right, yeah, Brendan will be all over that. And right now what's mattering is Apple is taking the downside play here back in. So we're long now. We just missed getting stopped out there through 221. So let's be careful here. The market has a tendency to be a little off-put when these exchanges come through. So let's be very, very careful. We are still long here. I'm thinking about getting short. Nice bump up in the market. The market got what it wanted, right? So why are we up so much? I can see a pullback happening here. Let's just be very, very patient. I still want to buy some NVIDIA on the downside if possible as well. That name's coming back in 116. Oh, man.
Oh, the other thing we should mention here, you were just Bitcoin was just holding the line at 60,000 all day. You did get a bump up in BTC, kind of broke some resistance right back in to retest 60,000. So, you are having an extended move in a lot of places. A few things are starting to come back in here, like we've been talking about with Apple. But I'm watching Mara. I mean, if we hold 60,000, 16s would look pretty good there a little bit. And that IWM, The Russell's holding the highs. I think if you look back, previous top on the Russell was 221.80 on this 15-minute. That's yesterday's tops. So if you're going to be able to pull down into that area and hold the previous day high, I think that would be a nice little spot to look for the dip. This one,
Go, Apple.
you know, I won't pretend this is the first time I actually tried to execute an order on a contested number on IWM, and obviously you probably need to go with a market buy, I'm thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got in and out TQQs, no problem there. But a little more liquidity, obviously, in a bigger spread. So yeah, but I market buy. I market bought. So that's why we got out of the TQQs. All right, we'll spin it again for Apple. Apple's going to be its top stock today, unless it drops below, and then we won't even give back what we've already made on Apple today. I mean, Apple, we had a 220 break long right there. That was a good one. Let's go back over to some bigger names here that might be moving around. What's Carvana doing? We talked about some of these interest rate sensitive like IWM. Carvana also there, $160 stock, goes up $4 as well. So that's making moves right here. I saw Tesla bouncing around on this number as well from look at Tesla, 230 up to 234. That's another $4 move. Nice upside play right there. You know, Google is P&L 1 for me today. It's not done anything really. It had a nice move up to 160, but right back in right now. We're hitching our wagon to Apple. We've traded Apple really well recently. We're going to wait for that. Affirm, you just mentioned that could be.
I'm surprised. So this market move to the upside. I'm surprised Google is as weak as it is. I don't like that. At all. It's going to be flat, but Affirm, only because the 45 level, I wanted to see, could this thing finally hold above $45? And the answer is no for Affirm. So if we are going to revert this, Affirm under 45 seems like it should be a short here, but let's see this one calm down a little bit. Apple, as we said, is a stronger name. Anything that's breaking highs and looking like this, I think is the one you want to be in. I just got another dip. If you can't break past the 50s, what you don't want is a complete fail break where suddenly resistance is right back where it was at the start. I think scalp trading at 21 to 21.5 and then holding higher is going to make sense. But that Affirm 45, the simple fact that you couldn't hold above, that puts it on the ish list for me because that's been a resistance for 2 or 3 days now. I would have expected more from them, especially with the squeeze potential there. You mean you have the small caps trying to go. Why is Affirm still seller at 45?
All right, let's... We also dip bought there a little bit on Apple. I mean, the market's trying to go back upside. We should have, you know, instead of, again, we actually made, it's funny because this is what happened when the market came out. Remember where we were short 66.70? This is a 66.15 fill. These are 40s and 30s. We got out of that. We retried it, then got out there. So we wound up losing like 15 cents on the back end of that trade, but we also got filled on the bid. That's how hectic that was. So we've learned our lessons on that one, waiting to see what happens.
I just got stopped up.
Yeah, Apple went to the downside there, so Apple stops us out. Apple's still a positive name for me, so we're happy with it, but never happy to get stopped out. Market still doing... I mean, they got as expected. I think this is a fade, but I wouldn't fade Apple because I thought, you know, the reason why we're trading is that I thought it was strong. The market just pulled back pretty good. We still got Benzinga Pro in our ear. Brendan's going to come out. He hears anything, or well, there's nothing to hear right now as they go through the report, and there may or may not be anything there. So, yeah, this is a decent spot. I think we'll try the short in the market. I mean, obviously, it's trying to break a little bit now. We'll take some here, some up a little bit higher than this, but let's just see if it gets back into this range. I'm going to short this against basically, I mean, 230 he comes on.
We got plenty of time.
Could hold until then. Just a matter of what the proper share sizing is because anything could happen at any time. Let's go over to Brendan.
Sure, guys. In the statement itself, the Fed indicating that they've gained greater confidence. So it's more across the board. It's more definite. The language is a lot more definite, including this part here. Judge that risk to achieving its employment and inflation goals used to say continue to move into better balance. Now it says are roughly in balance. So the risks to both inflation and employment, they're saying now are roughly in balance versus continuing to move.
Okay.
Well, that roughly confuses me more, but that's okay. We will just...
I mean, that totally clears everything up, right?
Right. Now I see clearly, so it's all good. All right, we are back into this short again. I'm just going to give it till that top, which I think is like 68.21. You know, it's... like I said, we got 50 points. We had that discussion before, what I thought would happen if we got 50 points. thought that the market may head to the downside. It was priced in over the last couple of days that this would happen. We got back to the 50 period on the NASDAQ a nice couple of days. So I think as expected, I think we could float back in just a little bit here. So we're short now. We're in the money. Well, we're flat now on this trade. I think 65, like that would be where the bottom may be on this. Remember, we just did tests down there on that release, but those are algos. So I'm not using any of these as lows. I think a bid back into 67 there would be nice. We're short 67.40s, so something back into there could be pretty good. And then a VWAP test, but these lines don't mean that much right now. You gotta play the trend, you gotta play momentum, and there's nothing wrong with sitting on your hands because the market's kind of just blah right now. It's waiting. It's waiting for Powell to get on the stand there, take some questions, and figure it out, right? So that's what I'm waiting for, and I think that's what the market apparently is waiting for also. So we'll stay relatively light in this and see if we do get a flush.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's just go station to station. Usually I like trend after 230, generally speaking. So once you get like that opening move, I'm starting to think, okay, well, scalp some levels if you can find them. That's why I went over to Affirm for the 45. It lost 45, shorted 80s, back into the bottom end of the range here. And then I'll try and rinse and repeat this off this 45 level. Again, I really would have thought this would have broken out the top, but for a couple of weeks now, Affirm at 45 has just been a brick wall, as you guys can see here. It tried to break out and flushed. So if the market's going to come back in, why not pick something that failed the top to short here for some relative weakness? So I'm going to stick with that. I was looking at a couple of other names as well that I thought might be moving around on this. Rivian in particular, that is real, and it is a spectacular wick that hopefully nobody is caught in. But Rivian's another example of a weak stock that failed a breakout and failed it big just now, which was trending down. And this low of the day here is essentially the biggest low you can have. It's like a flat bottom break here on Rivian. So I'm going to favor shorts in Affirm and maybe Rivian as well.
That's it. We just talked about it. This is real trading. Like we just talked about what our risk reward was there, what was going to happen, what we thought was going to happen, and we put the actual trade on. So here it comes back into the downside now, and we still got this trade. So boom, huge move back in on, I mean, huge, I don't know. We have this. Okay. Okay, Neil. Oh my God. Here we go, man. This is a nice move to the downside right now. Now $1 in the money. We just talked about this, man. You guys want some real trades. This is yeah, a good one right now as we come back in. Let's just see if the momentum can last. Can we continue this downside push? And there it is, man. It's $1 in the money. We get excited because this is real money and this is real trading. And it's always really good when what we talk about actually happens and we actually have the trade on. And there it goes. It is the market. It is the TQQs. Perfect. Right back down into the 200 period. We are emptying the clip right now, and we will look to get reloaded because that's it right there, man. That's good enough. That's the trade. We said maybe sit on your hands. That's what we do. Comes in, executes it. Bingo, bango, Neil. Bongo. That's the big one right there. So thank you, Sebastian, everybody in the chat. Well received and well heard.
Yes, sir. Great short in there. Nobody's long. I saw in the chat. Who's long? Nobody's long.
Boom.
Yeah, Affirm just went red. That dropped about $1.50 to the downside and just continued. And if we get a pullback, I'm on VWAP as it tried to break that low originally. You can see it was breaking the low. I'm like, okay, we'll short the pop back in. And then that was the move. You just heard Sean when the futures went. That is nasty to the downside. I still feel like the other name we like is Rivian, but I'm not chasing anything down here. Like when you've already pulled back in, this is exactly where it started. So I can say I like this for a short and was only in Affirm, but I'm not shorting the absolute bottom on this. I'd like to see it pop up there a little bit. Omar, who got that Affirm short, hopefully. The thing about that 45 is you didn't have to worry about what the key price level was on Affirm. Like all day long, you knew 45 was a level on Affirm. Yesterday, you knew 45 was a level. The day before that, you knew 45 was a level. If it couldn't break, then it's only going in the other direction. I'm fearful about Tesla here as well. This could lose. It was at 230, clear double top, never broke or got to that 35 level. That is the exact top from yesterday, 234.5 that it couldn't get through. So I want to watch out for Tesla losing the 230 level. But I'm gonna short pops to get reloaded, but only in Affirm or Rivian. Those are the two that I'm pretty much confident are looking weak regardless. Other names like, Apple is still above 221. Think about that for a second. got out of Apple. Apple's still above VWAP. It's above 221. I still think that's a strong stock. Stick to names that are weak because the market can easily bounce and retrace here with 15 minutes to go till Powell gets on the podium there. I see Vic Van Novak mentioning end phase. I think obviously when you get a 50 basis point cut, the logic would be that that is good for the solar type names. And I think that's being borne out. End phase broke out, end phase is holding the highs here. So I think that's the kind of name. If it broke out and held the highs, good. If it broke out and failed the highs, bad. Simple as that. Let's go to Brendo.
Just real quick, guys, for anyone who hasn't seen a dot plot before, this is not exciting, I'll be honest, but it just gives you an outlook. So the rows here, look at these as the rows are years. So going out for 2025, 2026, and then 2027, and then compare that to where we were going back to the last meeting. So we're down 100 basis points basically across the board, which is exactly what they were predicting. But the interesting part, I was just saying to Sharif here, by 2026, the median or kind of middle prediction here is actually below 3, so 275 to 3 by 2026, which would be in line with what we were saying before, 100 basis points next year, 50 basis points then the year after that.
All right, we got, whoopsies, I just put the wrong price in. I was trying to get in and out of NVIDIA. All right, we just got another piece out right here of TQQs. So we just have 5% left, something like that. It's a big trade. I was going to get into, I want to get into some NVIDIA right here, so we'll punch into it. Oops, wrong stock. Sorry, show you guys what we're actually doing right there. Buying some NVIDIA down here. I just noticing that we do have, obviously we're above VWAP, we're above everything right now. So we put the wrong price. We got stopped out, but we're back into it right now. Okay, here we go. So we just bought some here. I was trying to get it off the 50 and off VWAP, so holding this against 115 I think is well worth it. So let's see what happens now as we flip the game up, right? Let's flip the script and let's get out of our TQ position and now hold this NVIDIA long. And we'll see what kind of damage we can put on the board here into what hopefully is going to be a bullish moment for the market as we continue to go up, 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 up and away. And you know, we're just sitting here as common man trading, man, and trying to show you that this is something that's possible. So I'm scalping through. We're putting on some trades here. It's been big. And let's just see what winds up happening. 116.10 or so was the high. I'm going to sit at 116 quarters, get something out, ring the register on another 40 cents. I don't know if you're in a position just recently or not, but here we go. Nice upside move right now for NVIDIA. Let's hold the long and see if we, there it is. Boom, right there. That's how you make 50 cents. More than that, real quick time. There it goes. Nice upside move for NVIDIA. Could be another $1 here, guys.
Yeah, the upside move working for sure. I have no offers out right now. I'm over on end phase after seeing that push to the upside. Like anything that held the break, because I want to make sure I'm in something like that. Either Apple holding higher or end phase holding above the breakout price. Anything that's underneath, I want to still look for the potential fade. We have 10 minutes, 12 minutes to go until he hits the podium. That's Powell. So plan of action here, previous high 121.5, 121.5 under here was the dip support. So I want to play along off that level if we're able to get it. As it comes to a firm, I think it's going to be pretty simple. If it gets back above 45 as we test the highs, then I don't touch it. If it turns the same way it did before and fails the 45 or out in front of the 45 level, then I want to make sure that we're over there looking for that mean reversion. Apple also about to blow out the top. That could be another one worth going back over to. I feel like in phase is something I want to add to the long ideas, but it's Apple where we started. I feel like Apple is where I want to go back to the party. Just keep it simple. Try to do the same stock long and the same stock short.
Yeah, I mean, that's bang. That is the playbook for cooking up those profits. We're now $1 in the money on exactly what Neil just said. Play the names that we believe in. Play the names that are strong and get going. And I mean, that's it right there. Look at NVIDIA now. Right, up 1%, market's up 0.66. We just run this thing right there, bang, all the way back up to the top side. Let's take a piece out on NVIDIA. Let's reward ourselves. So there it is right there. It's 90 cents right there. So we cleaned up on the TQQs, which we got out of there, by the way, right there. So we are now out. Took a really good advantage of this move back in. I mean, 67 was a good out for us, and then able to get the 200 period come on. And then we just went long right now on NVIDIA, which, I mean, you don't see any marks underneath. So there we go again. We are at the highest spot we've been at today. It's a big day once again. But yeah, don't, that was not, like I said, man, that was not an easy Fed. right there. That was not an easy number. Let's see if it gets a little bit better as the market goes into his speech, right? So 10 more minutes left, and we'll get him on the podium. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now, and just made a little bit there. Short first, long late. Let's see if the long now can hold. We only have a third left.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. I mean, obviously, when he hits the podium, it's going to be like prepared statements. So this is not like when the number came out where you're just going to instantly react. Boom, the market's going to quickly shift. No, it doesn't really work like that when he hits the podium. Everyone knows sort of what is going to be the first things out of his mouth. When you get that Q&A, I think that's where it gets interesting. And we will have Brendan along the way the entire time. We both have our Benzinga in the ear. So no worries if we hear anything profound. Not that I'm expecting it. I'd like to hear he's probably going to try and talk down the markets in terms of, hey, this 50-point basis cut, it's not panic or anything like that. It's just that we felt our targets are being met and we wanted to get down to the cutting cycle, all that good stuff. So I feel like he's going to try and calm people down from thinking that this was a panic kind of move. And we'll see when about 8 or 9 minutes when he does hit that podium. I feel like that's when you usually get that bigger trend going into the close. Nothing is retaking the highs. So you're still an inside move. Anything at the top end. I'm waiting for Apple here. I don't want to buy the top. I feel like the bottom was down around 220.5 or so, 221. So that's the price I'd like to get. I feel the same thing about Enphase. Unfortunately, though, a firm doesn't want to get 285. Like this one doesn't seem to want to get back to that golden level. Like it made it a lot easier when it failed the breakout and trap longs over 45 for the curl back under because it failed 45, you hit the bid after it failed, it's already starting to dip and doesn't seem to have the strength to even get there. That might lead me to Rivian, which is the other name that I was looking for, the short on. Yeah, that one holding pretty much at previous highs. Don't like the setup on Rivian at all. You're not getting a good price to try to be short that one. You're going against the grain, you better get a good price or just don't trade it at all. And patiently wait for the longs. I've done this before in Fed. Like I remember, I think it was a firm.
Was it?
It was a firm a couple of years ago, and I remember it was an absolute banger. And then the second short, I was like, oh, I still like this. I'll short the first level. And of course, it came all the way back to the top. And I'm like, if I just waited for the top and been patient with it, I would have been fine. But I gave it back, shorting a lower level. And against the grain, you better have the right price, or nothing's going to matter.
All right. Not everybody, not every trader, not every stock is created equally. That is obvious. And NVIDIA right now, we are not going to baby this thing. If this breaks back down below that wick, it just made 116.20. We're going to get out, put the last 50 cents in our pocket. We rang the register upside for $1. We let it continue to go. But again, we're not trying to rewrite or
the dictionary?
rewrite the dictionary or rework the wheel. I don't know. We're just trying to
remake the wheel. That's right.
Yeah. Reinvent the wheel. Reinvent the wheel. That's what we're looking for. So we're just going to get out if it breaks that bottom. We've already taken the profit. We'll just wait now. Hopefully, I think it's going to be dovish when Powell comes out, but we don't have to wait too long for that right now. So we'll wait. It's 6 minutes to go, 6.5 minutes. Hits the podium, prepared speech. He's just going to read what Brendan's already showed, and then it's the Q&A, right? So once that happens, we'll get going. So we'll wait to see. I really like a 117 break. Honestly, I think you can go longer up there if it breaks higher. So, I like the name. I like the stock. Neil talked about IWM. We talked about different ECNs. Where's TAN? Why isn't that TAN? AM? Yeah, okay. So let's see. I don't know, it wasn't in the drop down. Solar right now, nice move up, interest-sensitive spot. The XHB, we can give a look at this one for Michael Noss. This was a name that he thought could go, and there it goes right there up to 124. Great call on XHB. Let's have a quick little look there on GLD. And of course, we're live trading.
Thanks a week.
We're day traders. So all these kind of plays that are happening right now, is that a gift for me there, Fabian? Everything that's happening right now are probably good for longer term. Look at gold now breaking out again. Gold likes that number. Bitcoin likes that number. Bitcoin right now making that move up. I mean, everything really starting to go, man. There goes NVIDIA again. It is not another one, but it is one of them. NVIDIA trying to go again. We just sort of wicked up there into the 70s. Let's see if we get back to highs. Man, we're having a great time. An absolutely great time here today. once again on the show. Palantir to 37. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Palantir goes to 37 and comes right back in. And look where it comes right back into. Past support. I mean, this market, you're rocking with me, so hopefully it's all good. But let's just wait to see what happens here as the market gave you support and resistance. So depending on what you're looking at, you could have had it. And there it is again. It's NVIDIA. Cha-ching. The cash register now goes $1 into the money, back up there to the upside. We talked about where our stop is. Let's just see what's going on moving forward now. Good day. Good day.
Yes, sir. Good day. Still going to the upside. The NASDAQ is... Look, we're still trying to break out those highs. You mentioned Palantir. Ooh, that Palantir has double barrel because it's going into the SP 500 on Friday. So there's probably going to be a bunch of buyers in there. We're trying to retake these previous highs. As I said, I'm not chasing. I'm glad I didn't compromise. I could easily have gone right back into a firm. Like it gave you a short setup off the lower high, only to now break it back out and retest 45. The setup was fail the 45 level, not just sit out in front of the 45 level and get run over. And it feels like it does want to run you over a little bit. End phase might just be too far gone at this point for anything but like a 125 break. So I wanted it off of 122. A little bit spreadier than I was expecting over on them. And the other one you can look at, if you're, as Sean mentioned, you can look at TAN, I think maybe a little bit better. But end phase, a little spready to my liking. What I don't love here is Apple's sort of pulling back when everything's back at the highs, which is not what it was doing before. So Apple kind of failing 222 here and dipping back in to what I think should be support where it was before. It's shown you the levels. That 220.5 is the level. I think if we're going to bleed back into the market, that's where I want to get to. A firm is breaking 45. The only way I want this back on the south side is for it to fail this breakout, trap some longs up there. We got about 3 minutes till he gets on the podium. Powell. Generally speaking, I want to wait till I'm not in it in the next minute, then I definitely want to wait until Powell hits that podium to make the next opportunity in there. So we'll see if we actually get something in. Apple on the dip. A firm just went over under at the 45 level. So there's the
here it comes.
There's the push over 45. We wait for it to break. It broke. It comes back underneath. Got 91s in there on the way back. When it gets them out where it crested the last time, support was at 70s, and then have a look at VWAP. If VWAP holds, jump out of Dodge. Remember, the market's going up here, so it's a counter trend trade on this failing 45. If it holds VWAP, going to get the you-know-what out of Dodge. As Apple gets really close to its support level as well. So Apple, I like around VWAP, 220.5 or so, and we're into a firm off this 45. If it makes a local high, I'm out. Forget about the high of the day. Local high in here. That's literally 03s. Break that, I'm out. It's 15 cents in slippage worth of risk. And then Apple, we're looking dip by. As Powell's 2 minutes away from gracing us with his presence. NVIDIA, almost everything I should say, I was about to say NVIDIA. Apple, almost back to VWAP when the market's not doing that big of a dip. Little surprising there for Apple. I don't know. I'm not liking what I see there. So we try second time. Patience, patience, patience on a firm. I was down on a firm early. Got it back and was up, and now I'm flat on the stock. But it's all about waiting for that price area. This was the level I liked.
Boom. Probably
could have had a heck of a lot more. Now Apple's starting to go. All right, guys.
Yeah, so kind of a muted thing here. I was just looking. Some of you ask, about how things are going. I think the office was pretty much down on that number, but there were some good trades. So depends on what you were trading for sure. So that's the beauty of a prop floor. You're going to have some traders that can do it. Some traders make money. Some traders lose money. At the end of the day, you just hope to be net positive. So, and that's what happens, man, when you get that going. So, all right, NVIDIA now $1 in the money here. Neil's long Apple. Obviously, we just talked about getting out of that Affirm. And then now we're going to watch out to see what happens with NVDA. So we took it's funny that Neil was like, and he's right, because you're talking about it sort of being inside. We took $1 on this play, more than $1 on that play. So we have $1 there, and we didn't lose. So that was a winning trade. So 1 for 1 there on the Fed. And then we had this trade, which is now $1 in the money. So we'll go 2 for 2 here on the Fed. So pretty good trading, what I think anyways, into what should be an important moment here for Powell to come on, talk about this and see if he could sort of quell some of those bears to come out in full force. So here we go. We're long NVIDIA. It is now $1 if you like it. We wanted to hold this all the way back up to the top, but now we might as well go. Our stop is already where it is, man, 116.20. That came close to getting stopped out numerous times. So let's not like pretend that this is not going to be a fun ride because NVIDIA has volatility in it. And I think Apple's there as well. Neil's in that. We'll wait to see what happens now. But there it is. We should have it up, I think. We're going to try to get it on the board. And when we do, you'll be able to see everything there about this release. Yeah, there it is.
There is.
Yeah, because it's not.
He's not there yet.
No, and then Brendan again on the question and answer. I think that's the most important part. So, well, there it is. Now we are officially hit that hydration. Hit that hydration nation right there, as Powell will, of course, be having some
big
water.
Papa pump.
We're now $1.20 in the money now on NVIDIA. Let's see where we go. Good trade on Apple. Let's see.
Yeah, good look on NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA might want to take that top. It's 117, but it's not exactly 117 as I look over. Be careful with when you're taking breakout trades. If you take any breakout trades, just note liquidity is not exactly what it would be on a normal day. So a little bit more aggression with stop orders if you use limit orders. I can tell you that from the experience I learned here with IWM. Obviously a bit of a wider move than I was expecting on that breakout, and that could take out the high as well, 225. Apple's looking to go, and remember what I said about a firm, don't give it to the actual high, give it to the local high, firm through the top. So wait for it, but if it breaks out, do not fight. Do not mess around. And now that I think about it, why am I not looking at SMCI as well, just for everybody out there? I feel like this was a name poised to break. No, never mind. I thought this was one. This morning, I was like, if SMCI gets to 470, that's going to be massive. SMCI is a fail.
Right.
That stock's not even moving. That's disappointing.
117.20. Okay, we are now out. I mean, great trading there on NVIDIA. I just was like, you know what? Let's just get out. We already have a banger here. If NVIDIA goes higher, then we will just punch more. So let's give a shot here. Good out. I mean, I don't know what else to do. That is a great little move there, as Powell is obviously on the podium there. You can see same tie, everything. So here we go. We are now out of NVIDIA. Spin it. That's that. That's $1. Now we just wait on our hands here and wait to see what winds up happening. 2 for 2 here during Fed. So far, so good. We'll just wait. And two big ones too, right? $2 winners. We are easily at the high for ourselves here today. And I just hope that everybody else is having similar luck. So we'll just keep going, man. I mean, again, when Brendan's ready, he'll just come in and we'll throw it over there, talking about the labor market continuing to cool right now. We'll just get more, but here comes NVIDIA. Let's see what happens at the top. Possible top breakthrough 117.20. That's the high of the day. We're going to try to go long if it breaks that right there. 117.20 long. That could be my next trade.
SoFi is absolutely flying, and shout out to everyone in the chat that brought that to my attention. Yeah, SoFi did break out that level on the daily, but first things first, you're taking out highs. What's not taking out the high anymore? Initially strong, now relatively weak. So tightening it up here for sure on Apple. You should be going higher when the market is doing this. So when I say tightening up, I mean tightening the stop instead of giving it to 221. Give it to that local bottom. I do not like the fact that it is not going with everything else. It's not like look, it's up 2 points. It's not necessarily bad. It's in the money, but why are we not near 222 when the market's taking out those highs? As I say that now, of course, it goes to the upside, so no worries whatsoever, but that's where my thoughts were. Like, why isn't it breaking higher? Now all of a sudden it is. If it gets to 222, I'm trailing it to that level. I'd like to see it break out that top. So now it's starting to go. I just had to complain about it a little bit and tighten things up as Powell delivering some comments. You guys can see in the captions below. If he says anything incredibly significant, I'm sure Brennan is going to let us know.
Money, 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 money.
There goes NVIDIA, baby. I mean, let's go. We just talked about taking that one long. So as we sit there, we wait for Apple. Great trade over there. We have NVIDIA again. This NVIDIA long from that bottom is now $2 in the money. And there it goes. More highs right now for the market and for NVIDIA. I mean, we gave you this trade. If NVIDIA, these are if and then statements. If NVIDIA breaks 117.20, I'm sure my guy Patrick has this. Nice break long there. So we're in, we're out. It's 50 cents in the money. We're still going to hold on just to a third, just to a third. This is when you trade bigger share size. you know, you can scalp out and then still hold that third and still get that dream. So let's go. This is what we're doing. It's Fed. It's 3 for 3. It's huge. We've doubled our net now since 2 o'clock. So big time movements happening right now. And we're continuing going to the upside right there. That's a banger trade. We get out of a little bit there and there it goes. Remember where our long was, 115.80. It's now a $2 winner from that bottom for NVIDIA and still going. It's 44 cents now in the money on NVIDIA. Good. Neil's over in there at Tesla, another aggressive name that I like.
It's that 235 level on Tesla that for days and days, this has been all the way since August. 235 has been trying to break. It's finally gone for the first time in a while. It just got to the $0.50. Stop is in there, so we're good to go there. But this is what it looks like on the daily chart when Tesla broke. It just took it out now, a couple of seconds ago, and continuing to go higher and higher. Apple's close to 222, but the thing I don't like about it is it's not at the high. The mark, everything is breaking out the top right now, and Apple is resisting. So I don't like this as much. Obviously, it's just not nearly as strong as everything else. So if it's not going to be as strong as everything else, I'm going to take it out. Lower high being put in. As a matter of fact, it actually just failed. If I were to draw a trend line, it essentially just gave you this clean trend in here. And it tagged the trend line in a reversal. So quick out on Apple. I feel like that was the right decision easily on AAPL. And just as quick as it went up, we get out 50s, you get that first $0.50, and right back underneath that 50 level. I got my execution out at 89 there on Tesla. So very, very quick slip there on Tesla. It's my second trade on Tesla today. I was short at VWAP a little bit earlier on TSLA, but that breakout gave you the quick one. I always have tight stops on even dollar breaks at high of the day. It's up to you what you want to do. I'm pretty much always going to take that up. But I think Apple's no longer as strong as I thought it was.
No, I mean, the market's giving everything back up a little bit right here. So we talked about only holding a third left for NVIDIA. So we actually got some more out. Let's wait to see here. There it goes. So now we're out. So there it goes. Flushing down on that last piece there for NVIDIA. Let's flush it down the toilet today. We are up on Apple, Google, Intel, NVIDIA, Palantir today, Tesla, TQs. Oh, we're down on PayPal. End. So right now, let's just wait to see. There's the
Apple's
out.
dumped.
Wow, huge move to the downside right now. There it goes. There goes Apple. Nice move right back into VWAP. Possibly a buy opportunity right now for Apple. We'll wait to hear if Brendan has anything to say, but nice move to the downside there for Apple. I'm going to buy a little bit of NVIDIA down here right now. Why is my barber calling me right here? Let's just let me just see what he wants to say right here. You want to get this guy live on here? All right. Hey, Halim, what's going on?
What's going on, bro?
Hey, man, bro, I'm live on the air right now. I'm trading. This is a Fed. This is what we're doing right now. How's the haircutting business?
It's really good, my friend, in business.
All right. Hey.
Customers.
Hey, I know. Thank you. I love you as well, and I'm going to come see you very, very soon. But I got to let you go. I'll call you back, okay, my friend?
Okay, boss. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye. It's called, if content was king, okay, here we go. It's also, meanwhile, Neil, while we're talking to our barber, let's just pay the man in NVIDIA shares, because there it is right now. It's a 40-cent winner back on NVIDIA. Let's take a piece out. All right, you got anything good over there?
I'm chilling right now.
All right.
Last trade was looking fantastic.
Let's go.
IWM, like I said, the first thing, if we get a 50 basis point cut, is long IWM. It just went 225 to the upside. This one's absolutely flying. And obviously it's the Russell, right? So small cap index for anyone out there, if you're unawares. I'm still not hearing much of anything. I mean, Leisman's out there asking some questions. There's been nothing incredibly profound. But what I can tell you is I'm going to be smiles when this is what happens in Apple. Like right when it hit that top of the trend line, we're like, it's not looking right. We're going to get out of it. Apple dumps right back into VWAP. Apple no longer as strong as everything else, as I said before. And that's what you have to be able to do. You got to be able to get away from dodge. Nasty pullback there. If you're trying to hold on, it looks like it's going to be in the other bucket. And that's going to be the nasty weak trade levels. Look, IWM and the Russell, I feel like this is the strongest thing I have seen so far. You're holding the highs here. I don't think it should be a top-end break, but the trend has been pretty clean. If you don't break this trend up here, and let me just draw the trend the same way we got out of Apple, I think that should try to inform us here on IWM. If it's going to hold on to this loose trend line, I feel like a top end break is going to happen. Then just give it to if it breaks through 25, give it to this trend line top whenever it does. I'm just going to make sure I have the right stop order set because IWM's on the Amex. And we have a better stop order we can use, and that's not the one that I was using the first time.
All right, yeah. Know your keys, man. I mean, and that's the thing when you're here this long. It's ingrained in our system, but make sure that you guys definitely follow your rules and get in and get out as you see fit. We just took 45 cents there on NVIDIA, but it is fading back in. We're going to get out at 116.25. We'll try a little bit more now. Futures coming back in. So let's take some here. Let's take some at the 50. He's going to make future decisions based meeting by meeting right now, says Jerome. So I'll take that for what it's worth and figure that all out. So 116, they're recalibrating, they're doing all this and all that. Nice little drip buy down here into NVIDIA. I don't like this, man. I feel like I'm hearing different things in my ear right now, talking about projections and whatnot. So here we go. We've reloaded up on NVIDIA. We're long now at 66s. I will take a piece out there at 80s. I don't know. We just kind of have random offers out here. We have another one in the 90s. We'll see now if we can get back up to the upside. We've reloaded here. This is coming out if we break 20s. 40 cents worth of risk here on NVIDIA. Hands off. And as we debate what haircut we're going to get. Okay, up to the 80s now. We're in the 90s to get out of another piece if it can go. Our stop is now set for NVIDIA.
There you go. I just refreshed my bins. I was wondering if you were hearing stuff, why wasn't I hearing anything? So I just reset mine to make sure we get anything. I don't think there's anything big, but another failed top there. I'm going to go right back to Affirm because this is the one that feels like it's relatively weak. It's back underneath resistance. So this is once, twice, now thrice this afternoon. The fourth time was this morning off of these levels, but it can't seem to hold on to this 45. IWM did not make that break. It's even starting to give it back a little bit here, now down to 224. But just like last time, same procedure. Give it to the local high and no further on AFRM. I still feel like this is the one I want to the south side. The other play, I mean, thank goodness we didn't try Rivian. Rivian is blasting up. I'm happy that Rivian is going up, breaking to those highs. It makes that makes some sense to me, but the one that we should have had to the long, and might me a couple to myself, is SoFi. SoFi broke out the top very, very nicely.
Oh, SoFi.
That's about as clean as it's going to get on SoFi, and it makes some obvious sense. I mean, we know what rate cuts mean in a general sense for them. So shout out to SoFi because this is the level we've been watching for a while, that 830 level, and now you're at 850.
Yeah, 20 cents there on SoFi.
If it can hold,
top to bottom. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, if it can hold the week, I actually like this for a swing next week, but it has to hold this 830 for the end of the week for me. I wanted to see after Fed for those guys.
All right, back over to Palantir. Oh wow, it took 37 again and then faded out. Interesting. NVIDIA is not nothing's happening right now in the market. Okay, here we go. Maybe a move down future. So I was just going to say, if nothing's happening, then we have to flip the script a little bit because you're starting to get underneath the 50 period and starting to go lower. I mean, it's almost trading exactly as we thought it would, whereby if it was 50 basis points, I was thinking we were going to go to the downside. It looks like that's what it wants to do here again. So there it is, man, down to the downside now. As he talks, we get out. There it is. So we get hit there. Our last trade there, 40 cents out on NVIDIA as it breaks below, I think it was 25s. I can tell you the price that we got exactly. 25s. Yeah, we got 25s. So a good out there for NVIDIA as now it's coming right back in. So yeah, let's just wait now. He'll get off the podium at some point. Let's go.
It'll take a while, I think.
I think. Let's go find some levels to look at and make sure that we have it good because there goes NVIDIA right back up again. So these wicks are going to be here for a minute. I still like this long. Maybe prefer Apple. NVIDIA seems to be pretty good. SoFi giving it absolute all back right now.
Yeah, everything's really giving it back. Oh, so yeah, I didn't quite catch that about the blackout. Oh, right where we turned last time on Affirm, it looked like there was a psych out. So right where we turned last time on Affirm, someone stacked up the bid just enough at 44.30. It's going to be hard to see that wick. If you zoom in, you can see it there. Right where it bounced the last time, someone stacked up the bid. That got me out as it held that higher low. and then immediately it flushed back through. But you can see there's still buyers in there at 44.35. So that seems to be the right spot to have gotten out. It's hard to see, but after the initial move up, that was the higher low at 44.40. We're able to get that 45 into 44.4. Whoa! Now they just lost that bit again.
There's some dissent or something.
Yeah, the buyers were
spicy.
just able to hold it for a hot minute, and they just dropped a bit on a firm here. So yeah, maybe we should have hung on to that short, but we took it out. I should have hung on to that one.
Yeah,
I didn't catch what he just said, but
I don't. They're going meeting by meeting. They're not in a rush, so on and so forth. We're going to go a little bit here on the TQs and see if we can catch a winner. There it goes. Wow, it's pretty violent right now, Brendan.
Just real quick, guys. He was being questioned on whether or not it was a unanimous decision. It was the first time since 2005 that a single Fed member dissent in the decision, so it's not a big deal. But he said otherwise, the remainder of the Fed members that voted here were more or less in favor of a 50 basis point cut. So not really a big deal.
Okay. Well, we're long the futures, and I don't. We're just kind of like dripping around here. I knew that the liquidity would be sparse in the TQQs, but I didn't really realize it would be this sparse. So yeah, we are pretty sparse right now. Did I use that word enough? Not much there as far as levels. Like we can drop 30, 40 cents. It was sparsely used. Okay. We do have a move upside. We are long at 12s. We're starting to go. It's 40 cents, man. I mean, honestly, with how we're trading, this is good. Nice play, man. 40 cents now in the money on this trade. Let's go. It's another one right here. Another dub coming through here as we go back up to the upside. There it goes. Get it out at 50. All right. We just bought off VWAP the futures. We did not get stopped out. We have no wicks underneath. We are now long. And there it goes, man. We started at 20s. We bought more. We're long at 12s. It's up to the 50 period. Let's take one more piece out because we're at the 50 period. There it is. We got a 54 there. Now we do. Now we get to 54, and let's just hands off and see what we could do now. It's futures, and yeah, so far so good on that front as we bought that dip. Wow. Oh man, we're at days high for our account right now. Let's just settle down. Okay, now we're starting to go.
Now it's really going.
Now we're really going here right now. So let's just keep on putting some more offers. I don't have any other offers upside. Let's wait at 67.90. That's where we just touched. Maybe we can blast again. Not much liquidity here, man, on these triple Qs. We playing now, baby.
Yeah, we got it for sure. So IWM ends up holding that higher low. So we like that for the long side. So that's what we got into. I'm chuckling because, okay, I'm just going to get out there. We got a bit of a lower high resistance at 223.5. So you hold that trend for the higher low. It blasted back up through 222. Was more aggressive this time. And when it went through the even, actually got filled at 44. So like I can tell you, some slippage in there, quick in, quick out. And I feel like whatever was going on with a firm, it's right back into that 45 level. So if I felt the buying was back in here and that's where we're picking up the bid, so I got out 44.4, it's right back up and testing 44.9.
Look at the move.
So you got to be able to play this really quickly. So I know the level that I want, get in, get out, and get the you-know-what out of Dodge. And the same thing with IWM. Like have an idea where you want to take it, because it holds the trend line, breaks back out, but never gets past the hump. So quick little scalp trade in there. Now I'm going to back off a little bit, sort of digest the next move in the market. You do not want to be taking out the lows on anything strong. That's what would concern me. Like if we lose the breakout top on the futures, I think you're going to be in a world of hurt here. But the trend's still working to the upside. So scalping the firm short, scalping now IWM, which is where I wanted to be the first time through. We just missed that initial breakout on IWM.
Oh boy. We just reloaded again down there on the NASDAQ. Now we're starting to go higher. We're waiting at 65s now. Like these are reloaded positions. We're taking 40 or 50 cents here. Like literally like it's candy from a baby, but not shawarma from my daughter because you're not getting that away from her. But I mean, this is starting to go back up to the upside. Let's wait to see here. 67, 65. That's where we're waiting right now. If we can make another 40 cents on this, then let's just keep on doing that, man. I mean, it's been another good day to trade some of these names. There it is, 65s. Get it now. There it is. Nice little move there again. So we are so playing with house money right now. It's really not even fair. If we can break above 68.50, that's the next thing. Well, wait. I mean, I don't. My playbook since we've been doing this I don't know, I was on Trader TV 4 or 5 years. We waited for Powell to sort of leave and then watch for a little bit of a cascade down. But right now, I don't know if that would be a reversion at all because you're not even really moving that much. You're up 80 handles from where we were pre this announcement. We get exactly what we wanted on the announcement. And now, from what I can see, there's not that much. I mean, we've taken advantage of this because I feel like we're trading the right instruments. But at the same time, the market's not really doing a whole heck of a lot right now. So I would say we've had $1 a couple times, 3 times here, and we're doing well, but the market is just kind of hanging out. So I would say, be a little cautious here. I'm not going to reload anything. Look what we just did. We went long here and out up here. We went long again and out again. So we'll just play with house money. If it comes back in, great. If we break down here, then we get out. It's a very, very simple trading, and that's the way I like to do it. Very, very simple. And today that is resulted in a decent day. Well, let's leave it at that.
Yeah, we're ranging, I think is the right word. Very so in the chat just put in there. We are now starting to range a little bit. Like the big move has happened. You had the secondary push. And all of a sudden, you're just getting a little bit more range bound. You're not getting back up to the highs. Well, it depends on what you're trading. You're not getting back to the lows. I'm just looking over at IAWM. I don't know if a firm's going to give that short one more time in here. But the play has been let it make the break of 45 and let it come back underneath. Let it show you the turn. It shows you the turn and comes back under. And when it's on the sell side, that's where you want to try to grab it. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on the sell side. And IWM's been a good long. I'd like to see if it could continue. When Powell drops from the podium, however, I'm very willing to, just because you liked IWM long, but while we got the number and while he was talking, when he leaves, all bets are off when he's done from the podium. As far as I'm concerned, it's almost like the third phase of the game, right? And when that happens, you don't want to get trapped just doing exactly what was working previously. The other thing we got to show here is, we haven't even talked about any of the banks, and I just wanted to highlight, like JPM, like this is the opposite of what you'd seen with a lot of the charts that we've been pulling up here. Break out the top and lower highs the whole way. So JP Morgan, I don't want to say taking it on the chin, it's only down 0.5 point, and this feels like it's looking very weak, trend down on the banks. That's worth keeping an eye on here, especially if we take out any of these bottoms and reverse this move. But I still want to keep it to IWM, looking for a reload on the long. I think you can clearly see where the support is. It's just yesterday's high, and now all of a sudden it can't get back above 224. So very clearly you've got the support down at 222-ish, just underneath 222, and then your resistance is just underneath 224. That's the range-bound trade. I'm not shorting it at the top. I'm really just only looking for longs on this at that bottom.
Here we go. Yeah, good look right there. Here we go.
Well, I was doing Luigi, not
I know.
Not Dak.
Yeah. No, I know. Here we go. Right there. Okay, so there it is. I mean, look at this move there. I mean, that's another 80 cents. We'll just take a piece out. We said we'd get something out if it went to $68. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. Keep it going, man. We do this every single day. It's exciting today because it's Fed, but you know what? The market's actually, we've had busier days, busier market moves. And I mean, although we'll just take,
We got Palantir getting added on Friday. We got Dell being added on Friday. October 1st, we're going to have SMCI on a split. I've never seen a stock get added to the S&P 500, drop like an absolute rock, lose everything it's made on the year, then do a reverse split when it's already retraced 50%. That sucker's going to be insane, especially with the options game on S&P. So trust me, every single day there's something moving. You like small caps? That Omex stock, I don't know what the heck it's doing now, but Omex, that one was crazy today. So you could be trading just about anything. Okay, it's not doing much of anything anymore, up 200% on OMEX. I'm asking myself why I didn't go back into long at 130 on this. That's a question for another day. That was a fail. That was a 130 long like multiple times in here, and it gave you the level. It's telling you where to dip by it, but small cap for another time. That's worth keeping an eye on tomorrow, this OMEX. OMEX, as Sharif liked to call it. There's so much out there moving, everybody. Just whatever is your flavor. Trade what works for you.
Yeah. 100p, as they say. Yeah, just keep going. Just keep doing what you do best. And we've actually, if Adam's in the chat or if anybody's been here watching the evolution of a trader, we used to. I mean, we still look at a lot of equities, and I can run them all through today. We have one red name today. What? All right, we have Apple. So all right, so we're green on Apple today. We're green on Google. I'm just going to run them all through. Here, maybe I'll zoom back out. We're green on Intel. That's 3 for 3. Here's the trades, right? So there's Apple. I mean, obviously we went long. I mean, these were good trades. Google. I mean, who next? Right? Intel right there. That was a good one. NVIDIA, I mean, you just trade that with me. So there's that. Palantir, these are the shorts. Boom. That's a great trade. PayPal, we are down a matcha latte. We did talk about that. PayPal, again, out there for even. Boom. That's fine. The TQs.
Whoa.
That's loud. And then we have Tesla as well that we're up on. So Neil, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 winning stocks, 1 flat stock, and we'll go basically 7-0 today. So, I mean, that's the trading that, if you guys are interested, we have our sticky note out here, and most of those trades that I've talked about right there are well off. I mean, sure, we just point the gun right at the market every single day. I mean, it's not easy to sit here and put on trades in front of you guys. You can clearly see that. Yo, happy birthday, Beltman. 5 years old, love her. But there it is right here today. You know, Palantir, there's the short that we printed on. There's the Google long that is P&L number 1 right now. There's the Intel short that's P&L number 2 on the show. 1, 2, there's our TQs. There's Palantir and there's Apple. So, I mean, these resources are available for you. Go check them out. We are now nicely in the money on the TQQs and just waiting for more. So let's just keep this train going higher. What's up, Charlie Taff? What's up to everybody there in the chat, man? Make sure you do check out Real Trading Campus Program. Check out realtrading.com and get on this floor with us immediately. And hopefully you can join in on the fun yourself.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Like, join in on that fun. Powell's definitely giving us the fun here. So
always does.
You know, we call him Big Papa Pump because usually, and it doesn't matter contested decision or not, I guess we're pumping to the upside. We might not be able to get the reload on longs. Again, I'm not necessarily wanting to chase this. I feel like if I chase a stock that I like long, or in this particular case, the index that I like long, then he's going to leave the podium and we could revert. So I'm just going to sit patiently, wait on my hands. It would be tempting to short a firm, but it's not doing the setup that worked, which was allow it to fail the break. Every time it breaks 45, I feel like people are trying to go long when it breaks 45, and we've been shorting back underneath. So I'm not going to do anything with that one against the grain unless it's an absolutely perfect setup. I'm just going to wait around and look for IWM to give me some kind of an opportunity with a bit of a dip in here. It's got a 2.5. Check that. It's more like it's a $2.50 range here, but effectively more like a $2 range. Needs to travel back into the bottom, catch a bit of a bid. I'd like it to hold trend, so it doesn't have to get to the absolute low. But if you sort of connect the dots, and you can do it any way you want. I could draw it here or draw it there. It doesn't matter. I want it to enter that target range, not lose the bottom, and try to make a bit of a bounce. So here comes the south side. We'll try to hold on and be patient, wait for it to dip back in, and stay on target and stay on plan. Rivian Millionaire, let us pump. I'd love for him to pump. But I don't mind if we get enough of a dip to get us back into some of the longs. That's fine by me.
Right there, what's up? Just mentioning our risk manager there. New options to manage personalization on Google Play. Nice email. Okay, we're just gonna keep on going here as we look for more opportunities. We always talk about trying to go through things and make sure that we're all fine. Right now, Powell's talking about immigration right now, so we'll see about the job market. Obviously, as that's what he's been indicating. All right, so I might just put a stop. Like, our stop was back down here. We only have, I think we have about 20% left. I don't know. I mean, we've been trading a lot of shares and just making moves back and forth. So what about a break of the 50 period? Let's get another piece out if we break through 50s, which of course just happened. So I can just manually get this out now with offer 46s. There it is, man. That's a good one. We'll just get another piece out. That's 30 cents, not huge. We'll wait to see if it wants to come back. Our stop is still down here, so we're out. We have 10% left. I mean, we just told you about that. Further declines in job openings will translate further openings will directly translate to unemployment, obviously. But we're going to wait to figure out what he's saying. Brendan's got it all, so I'm just trying to repeat what I hear in my ear. But You can see right now it's a Q&A period. So again, thank you everybody for joining. I mean, as we look right now, we have over 6,000 right now watching. So I want to thank everybody for doing that. We have 10 or so on the morning shows. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe so you can find out all the time when we are on. I mean, we're on every single day. The
market's open, we're here.
Open. Yeah, I just took off October 2nd because my kids will be at a cross-country meet.
Nice.
So the wife and I will be going out for breakfast and then watching them at a cross-country meet, of which they both made their respective teams, and I have no idea about the distances. I think my 10-year-old is 5K.
How old? Oh, yeah.
5K she has to run, and I don't know. Barron's in grade 7. I don't know what he has to run. Maybe 8K. I don't know what it is. I'll find out tonight.
That seems like...
That might be too much.
No.
She's 5 for sure.
8K?
I don't know. All right.
Oh, so we just lost the board.
I'm not sure. All right. So the market, why did we not just get punched out? Okay. Oh, yeah, because it's not out yet exactly. 66.90 break, and we want to get out of this trade. Let's just buy a little bit more on the downside now, and then 66.79 or so, we'll get out of this last piece. Now we're starting to go down. Is he off yet? That was
no, he's still there.
He's
That's
off.
What I thought.
Right now, but all right, S&P futures now pulling back. Sorry, there's the TQQ, so a little bit of a flush. We were supposed to get out at VWAP there, and my trade did not trigger, so we'll get out now. There goes the move downside, so hopefully some of the longs were printing for you guys, not for me, as we got stopped out of that move, but that's completely, I mean, like I said, we're going to...
Whoa, Manfred.
We traded 7 names,
crazy.
man. We're green on all 7, including the TQs, based even on this. So bye-bye, downside move. Maybe buy Apple. Apple's at 219.
Yeah, I see in the chat, Manfred in the chat just saying NQ will be 19-1. Fabian, can we get a quick, well, you know what, you're busy right now. I want to poll, will the NQ close red or green? And the only reason I'm saying red or green is because the NASDAQ is dead. It's flat right now. It's the optimal time to do it. So it's exactly flat. That's what the poll should be. Our viewers were the other direction. Like I think 60%, we thought it was going to be a quarter, and we got 50. So the market was right, but look at IWM break that trend. So we bought it pretty much exactly where we were looking for the bounce. This initial wick, it bounced off the trend line, went long, and then slapped the stop back underneath. So you have to have a plan of action. It's a big reversal. And you know what? I'm not going to pretend. I thought the reversal was happening when he left the podium.
Yep.
Jerome, that's what usually happens.
It's all good.
Jerome. But instead, we're reverting already. I don't even want to look at Affirm. Affirm just broke $44. That one is in the trash can. It's in the gates of hell. Affirm. I keep forgetting I can't hit that one. I hit the other one. No, Affirm just dumped right back into the low. So the setup had been for me, break 45 back underneath, break 45 back underneath, break 45 underneath. This time it just kind of failed underneath 45 and didn't really give you the same setup. But Affirm, negative on the day. To me, if you were red before the market got red, that means you're weak. Not that I should have to tell anybody that Affirm is weak under 45. I'm going to pick that we're going to end up red just because I feel like we just turned red. And generally speaking, whenever he's at the podium and finishing up, we tend to end in that direction. But we'll see.
All right. Yeah, we shall see for sure. We'll make a little bit back there what we lost. For now, if the market wants to bounce, let's go. Give me those 53s. We're at 53s. Give us that. Did we get them? Yes, we did right there again. It's another one. Now 50 cents back into the money here. Like if you lose 20 cents and make 50 cents, you deserve to drop that money down. And plus we could see our net. So we know we're higher now than we were previous, but there it is, man. Yes, sir. Nice move back up. We buy the dip. It's pretty easy trading. We talk about this, man. I try to make it as simple as possible. I want to thank everybody for watching. It just came right back into the low that we already got printed on. So we bought that again. We're long at 66.20. It's 50 cents. It's another 50 cents in the money. Like you want to talk about, first of all, I feel like we probably hold the most. For myself, probably the bigger plays. And right now, we're just showing the versatility by just scalping back out right now again. So, put on that different hat. Understand what market you're in right now. If I can get a 55 print right now, we'll do it. We'll put 30 more cents in yield pocket. Remember, we got to pay for these shawarma parties, so we're going to have to be careful with all of this. So right now, nice move back in. Let's see if we can hold this and get right back to the upside there. This move was a little premature. There's no doubt about that. We thought this would happen post him leaving the podium, but it looks like it's happening right now. Let's go TQQs. We're holding this until we break that 65 area.
I just heard him saying they can't call the win on inflation just yet. So he's doing that whole temper your expectations. Hey man, you did a 50 basis point cut. That's what if you did 50 instead of 25, then you should be saying that you have beaten inflation. That should be the idea. Bouncing off VWAP right now is IWM. So it's got the same double bottom. I like to trade better when you're on the upside, when you're making the bounce. To me, you're still in the falling portion of this move, and I'd like to see it hold a higher low. It's been giving you that upper wick and then reclaim the bid, break back out trade. That's what I'm looking for next. I know some people might be looking at treasuries or UVXY, whatever it might be. I feel at this point you can kind of see on the tape. If you have the level that you like, if the buyers come in at that level, just keep on that instrument because you can really see it. Like I was able to see on a firm at one point where the buyers were holding it up. When they lost it, it was very, very obvious. Of course, they ended up buying it right back, but still, that's what you have to watch for. I'm not going to sit on this bid. You're still losing the bid here on IWM, and now it's going through VWAP here.
It is
cracking. Yeah, I thought this one would hold up a little better than it did. I mean, we were able to get one of the bounces, but now you're losing this bid in earnest over there on IWM. Maybe Rivian is still available. If Rivian's at 13. Right, he's talking about housing inflation. Yeah, Rivian's starting to lose 13. Feel like that was a bit of an overearner. You know what the problem with Rivian is? No, Rivian's bottom, 1270 is like the flat bottom break on Rivian. Yeah, I don't want to be shorting this one very close to such a really significant support level. That doesn't make any sense. Throw that one out.
Okay.
If it breaks.
All right, so we took it. We got stopped there on the downside as the market's breaking. I'm going to take this short, 65.50. Let's see if we break the bottom of the day right now on that one. I mean, he is talking about housing right now. That's been a very, very sensitive spot. We wrote this down on the sticky note. Yes, today you can go find it, 65.50. It happened to be dead on right there during the midday. I don't know. We had a huge move down there, and we bounced. So now let's wait to see if we can hold 65.50. I think if we lose it, I'm going to go short if we lose that. And then we'll wait to see what happens. I mean, that bounced back up there to 65.90. 40, 50 cents worth of risk here, I think, is probably in the pocket for risk for me. So we'll do that. Like I said, we're not going to be at our highest spot of the day. We're going to be pretty close to it. But we did lose on that. We made on there and then gave it back. So unrealized, we'll have given some up. But for right now, here it comes. Let's take that short, breaking through that bottom of the day. It is going to be a little bit risky, so it's not like a full max position. It's probably half of the position that I normally would take on a breakout right here. So we'll see about a break lower into that low. This makes sense to me, so we're going to put it on. If it doesn't break, it doesn't break, and all good. We'll sit here and be very, very patient. But I mean, soon off the podium.
I feel like the longest it was like there was one time it was like 3:15, but usually wrapping up pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd like for him to do that. I feel like, getting him off the podium, you can get a bit of a direction here. You just said VWAP is so far away. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I looked at Intel. I'm like, what is down a lot? Well, Intel's usually down 3%. It lost 21. This one I like it's breaking lows before the market breaks lows, and it's down more than the market is down. And we were showing it earlier today. So I do not mind this one, but I'd like us to get a pop in here because I think he'll leave the podium and then you might get a bit of a reversion and then we can go back into trending. So we're into power hour. The market is trying to bounce off the lows, and the operative word would be trying to bounce off 19.6. I don't think it's necessarily done yet, but clearly after that initial move to the upside, there was one more push to fail the top, and we've been stair-step down since 2:30. So trend has been down since he's been on the podium. And it's hard to get away from that. Just want to make sure it's a weak name. I just don't want any part of any of those strong names that we were looking at before. I'd rather short something busting the lows that looks like trash as opposed to something that was just screaming a few minutes ago when we were making those long trades. So I'm going to look to short pops in Intel. If we get a chance at a firm, I feel like VWAP would be an easy answer. And then 44. 44 was the morning support. 44 was the higher low. So maybe a push back into 44 for a curl. I'd rather join, again, something that is already relatively weak if we do bounce from this 19.6 on the NASDAQ.
Oh boy. I really want to go short because Nvidia is losing, and if Nvidia loses, then this market will be forever in pain. Oh boy, I might just start a TQQ position now, but Nvidia is a completely different beast. I mean, Nvidia is breaking the low right now. It's gone. 113.50 just went. So Nvidia is having itself a day. I talked about this earlier during the market, during our opening show there, that if Nvidia ever lost these bids, man, I don't know. And we actually looked at it here, and it was 115 that I was very concerned about. We've already lost that easily and starting to go back down. Where's the gap fill, man? 110? All the way to the downside. And if that happens, then obviously the market should continue to fall down as well, but it's not. So that's what's giving me a little bit of a pause for concern on what to do here at the futures. I feel like I want to trade the futures rather than anything else. This is a futures type day with the Fed. So I'm going to be patient on it. I really think that I should be going short here. Would rather it come up. That's why I was looking at VWAP, but I don't want to, I'm going to try now. I'm going to go here at 82s. We'll give it a shot. I have a much bigger order to break the bottom if that does go. What is this, 66 quarters? All right, 66.30. We'll get stopped out. We'll average in appropriately to make sure that we don't have a whole bunch of shares if it does get back up there. But let's just try it right now into this level. We'll see about a short. We'll average into it. I'm thinking we can break the low of the day. So this might be a great opportunity to get some more shares at a better price. And a lot of this is predicated on the fact that I think NVIDIA could be a slippery slope right now. Plus, I don't want to do like Powell's going to leave, therefore the market's going down. I'm trying to do it based on what I'm seeing. So 66.30, it looks like that could come into play right now. Again, treading lightly here on this play, but want to have something in case the market does come down. I feel like that's the right way. It's short right now, but
yeah, I mean the trend is very clearly like the longs might have worked. Like I liked IWM before. I don't like it anymore now. I just want to make sure I get something weak. All right, the Intel's gonna not bounce here. At least it feels like it has no intentions of bouncing. It's likely to break to this little double bottom. And then I see the previous lower high at 2085. The good news for Intel is unlike Rivian, where I said it's right very close to its support levels. I mean, Intel's bottom is underneath 19 bucks. So
he left? No.
Oh, you guys pulled the...
Okay.
Okay, I thought for a second that many left. So he did not leave the podium, but there is this bounce happening as we speak. So no break at the bottom. I want to look to fade back into this. 21 is the post number low, so that would be the natural level to get a fill, and a firm just got to 44 as well. So I can say that the first thing to get there was going to be Intel. It looked like that was going to be the case, but it ends up being a firm. So a firm comes right back into that lower high. So we'll go from lower highs of support to looking at them as resistance because the trend is now going in the other direction. So I'm short under 44. I'm going to have my out just underneath that. I want 60s in there. If we get back down in the 60s, we'll take some out there. I also like 21s on Intel. I just don't know if it's going to have the juice to get up there and play off of that level. So I'm back into a firm, although $1 lower than where we were shorting earlier because that's what the market did. So if he gets off the podium, I have a stop through 44 even. It's not like he can leave the podium and all of a sudden you're sort of caught off guard. But the market is bouncing as he might be wrapping up. He's not going to talk till 2 o'clock. Or 3 or 4 o'clock. That's never happened before.
Not to 4 o'clock. No, I think we're going to be fine with that one right now. So, all right. We're going to basically, we talked about where VWAP was here for the NASDAQ. We got stopped out when it broke through 20, but we made that wick high there on a decent amount of volume, but still not that much. I just want to get more shares up here. If it breaks 67, let's just be wrong on a VWAP break. We have to be a little more patient. Okay, here it comes. We have to be a little more patient than what we've been doing here because, again, it just looks like the market might want to go back to the upside now. We only went from 19.9, which I guess was decent, right there down to 19.6. So definitely a pull down there and then a buy. So looking at the TQs here on a daily chart, it's not like we really bounced off of anything significant. I still think we could break lower. I like that 65. Okay, well, now we're short at VWAP. So now sometimes you get what you want and it's not good. So we are now short here on VWAP. We do have that stop higher and there it goes. Powell's still talking about all this. We're short right now at 60s on a decent size. So if this goes up, it will suck. It'll turn us red on the TQs on this one last spot here. Probably should have been even more patient than we were. I see you got out of a firm there. But yeah, the whole market's starting to go upside.
Yeah, it broke that 44, so I jumped out of it. Thank you for the super chat here, Day Party Experience, CNI, Canadian National Railway stock forecast. Should I buy long-term hold? Is this a good short-term play? Enjoy the channel. You guys have been making me some money. Might throw a shawarma party for you guys. Keep up the good work. We love shawarma. Look, all we ask everyone to do here is, come here every single day. Join our fantastic community because it's the best trading community. Enjoy. Have fun with it. I love shawarma. I'm down with it. But you guys don't have to send us anything. You know, we're here day in, day out, no matter what. So if you don't know, I mean, look, there's obviously some fundamental issues going on with them and with them and the strike. What I don't love about the chart is when you look at the weekly, it is a barcode. And if you're looking at a barcode on the weekly like this, I usually don't compromise. It's like, show me the bottom, and that's where I want to pick it up because it's range bound. I never think the things that should be utilities to me aren't the best things for the long term. So I'm not a huge fan of them. Just very quickly, there's a curl happening on Intel underneath 21. So I'm going to get my short on Intel underneath the 21. I'm out of that Affirm. It's still over 44. But I want to see it, like it's holding on the 200 period on CNI. I'd like to see it breaking out the 50 period or give you the support at the bottoms. I think when you look at names that don't give you parabolic wins, well, you have to be a little bit more range-bound trading them because they're not going to give you gains like the tech names are going to do. You have to be very, very specific about where your entries are going to be. That said, technically speaking, I'd want it above that 200 on the weekly, but I do not like airlines. I don't like the railways. I feel like things that should be, if I think it should be a utility, then I don't want to own it for the long term because that tells me that they don't make the kind of consistent profits that you can get out of some different types of holdings. But that's just me.
All right. Just talking again. We are short again. We waited for VWAP. We got it. Now let's start to cash out as we come back down in. We are actually all my bids. Yeah, 66.40s. Okay, so 66.40 we're bidding right now. Then 66.20. And if we're able to get anything around there, then oh hell yeah on that. So we'll wait to see if we get a little bit lower here on the TQs. Just trying to give it to that top. Again, like hoping that this will work out for us is one thing. But yeah. Hoping that he actually gets off the podium at now. Let's test that theory now that we have this trade. But we just got out of some more down there. We got some 50s. You saw that clear as day. I have the level 2 up here. So a couple fills down there. We missed our best fill. Our best fill was 54. We were waiting at 43. Maybe we get that again. But our stop is up at the upside right now, 67 and change. Not very good trading right now from what I can see. Obviously, I've just gone short there and lost on it, so my opinion might be skewed. But all right, Amazon, just trying to find names that might be moving a little differently than we thought right now. JP Morgan, why don't we check on the banks? That's something that maybe we haven't looked at right now. 209 right now. So a bank's not really doing anything. At 2 o'clock, it looks like they make that move up to 211. Nice move up. Falls back in, sort of dances around now. Now we'll wait to see if we can get a little bit of a pullback in the market. Would help JP Morgan if you're trying to get that bottom. But I'm not super excited. I haven't watched these banks trade much during a Fed rate cuts. I mean, I'm always on big cap tech. So for right now, we'll stay a little bit away. A name that's been pretty aggressive all day has been Tesla. So again, maybe instead of being in the futures, we could hold this short against 231 if you really wanted to there for Tesla. But you're underneath right here. Like I said, I'm fine being short as long as we're underneath VWAP. And if we get above it, then we'll just tap out. So that's what we're going to wait for. We're on the last question. I mean, we might be on our last legs here, getting stopped out of this. But right now, the NASDAQ's trying to go back up. If it takes VWAP, then we'll get out. It's a pretty simple trade. And if we get out, it'll be a 25-cent hit. We already took some out there, as you guys saw. So we'll wait to see now where we go. But so far, so good. And we'll wait for him to leave. And if he leaves and the market tanks, then
this is where we were.
Some bids.
This is where we were when he came on. There we go back into the downside. So I think it's pretty simple. If we're back to where we started, things that are under where we started are weak. Things that are over where we started are strong. So keep it that simple. So I did get Intel there. I got 94s on Intel. It's trying to work back into the downside. Like if I look back over at the IWM, that's actually holding out pretty well, though I'm favoring the shorts at this point. So it almost doesn't matter that it actually held above VWAP. It doesn't make a difference. A firm should only ever take it after it breaks the even dollar. Not before. After it breaks the even dollar has been like, let it trap people above the even dollar and get it back in when it loses it back underneath. So I think this is headed back into the lows at that 43.40. I feel like I'm not going to be putting that swing trade on SoFi the way the market's going. It's not going to hold that on the week. But a firm heading back into the downside. If it does not break this low, this is also yesterday's low on a firm. Only about 40 minutes to go in the day. And as day traders, you're going to be out at the end of this day. If you don't break the low, not hold any of this overnight, we can always have new plans for tomorrow morning. And certainly, if something fell into your plans today, that should be one of the first places you look tomorrow. And so if we actually hold some of this strength and we're able to bounce, I'm going to go back and look at IWM for longs tomorrow. If we fail, I'm going to like things like a firm, just like we like it here short.
All right, I just want, as Neil was talking there, we took 25, so we got filled at some 50s, right? We're short at 80 right now. So we're going 1-to-1, taking out some profit. We still have a decent spot on for this, so hopefully we'll come back in and we'll be able to take some more profit. But for right now, our stop is right here. The news conference is now over. So let's just wait to see. I mean, I don't know. We could still take out the top. If it does, then we're out. So we have some bids. Oh, there we go. Now, all right. Yeah, it has ended. Yeah, we just made that announcement there. So let's just wait to see. We're in the money now. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take a little bit of a bid there. We'll take there. We took a 65. That's 15 cents. I'm going to cancel the 40s and see if we get a real good move. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to put a bid at 40, see if we get it right now. So that's what I'm rocking with. It's a nice move, man. There it is. It's 40 cents. 40 cents right there on the TQs. Let's see, or sorry, 30 cents. Let's see if it get, there we go. Now it's 40 cents. Get lower. There it is, Neil. We are starting to go now, baby. Remember I said we would be red if this went against us on the NASDAQ. Nepa. Now the NASDAQ is singing, baby. This is exactly what we're built for. We are here for this. This is why you put on shares, Neil. Good trading over there, but a banger right here. That's $1 now as we come into the downside. Thank you, Jerome. And the thing is, this is like, I mean, I look around like, this is graduation time. We talked about this here. We said this is what happens to the market.
He leaves the podium.
The market falls down. So right there, we just made more money on that one trade than anybody else. So that's what we're talking about. That's the flush. You have to believe in your trades, Neil. And that was a good one right there on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, you got to have it. The market right back into the lows. We're still in the same two. I said I would take the low of the day on a firm. We got the low of the day. We're still in Intel. Went 44 to 43.4. So right back into the bottom. It was the first thing we wanted short. We're going to stick with it. Intel about to break its low of the day. Almost everything made that curl, but watch out. 19.6 just held. So look at that. Like as soon as we're able to catch the bid, like right back to the upside. That's 19.6. That's low of the day holding. So be careful. You are holding out that bottom. I just heard something about Bitcoin.
Just
above 60.
Yeah, it's been above 60 for a minute.
Why would it be above 60?
Oh, was that 59 all day? I mean, I don't know. I have to look to see what's going on here. But, I mean, we just got, oh, man. Like, we just got 87s there. We spun that dollar. Oh boy, I feel like this is going to be a shawarma party. All right, so there's that happening. Let's just go look at gold, see if there's any sort of a reaction here in the gold markets, GLD.am right now. So yeah, gold is, remember gold was up 1+% earlier on. Gold falling, man, 240 down $4 on GLD. Yeah, big time movement to the downside. Right? Oh boy, we are now back into the money now. It's $1. We are at the highest spot we've been at all day. And like, honestly, that's short. And we told you if that broke through $67, it would have turned us red on the stock. But instead, it goes completely the other way, and boom, goes the dynamite on the TQQs. So what a good day it's been right here. I'm going to put another bid. Let's just take another piece out right now. We'll take another piece out at 15s. We don't need to be here for all time. We just need to be here for a good time. And so far, it's been a great time as we have one of our best days of the month right here, live trading for you guys. 8 for 8 on names over here, Neil. So far, so good. How goes your
so
day?
far so good. I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Since we come back on, it's only been going to the upside, at least net wise. But not every trade worked. Remember?
Right. Yep.
Like I'll give you, and here's the best example of that. And I kid you not, because sometimes these ones are fun to look at. Sometimes the best trade you make is the one that you're not stubborn about. I've been waiting for Tesla to break 235 for a few weeks now. It broke 35. Usually I'm going to take the initial push on any breakout trade where the sellers show up the first time. I'm going to use shotgun a bit out there. And then if it loses that breakout, just get out of the trade. We even had took it on the break. We're able to add to it on the way up. That's where I got the 21s. But look at that flush on Tesla. Like that's exactly, you get stubborn about this one. There's no coming back from that. It's still up on the day, but that doesn't really tell the story. I think when you're looking at stocks and you're doing your diligence tomorrow, like we're all going to do when we come back here 8:30 live, or before that, preparation, then we'll be live at 8:30, is try to remember it's not just about what a stock was up or down on the day. Lock into what happened when we got the rate hike. Like where was Tesla? You try to jump off this 230 level. The 235 is resistance. All of a sudden, that 230 becomes a very important number. Right in around here, you're seeing it lose that lower high as we speak. If it closes above, I think it's relatively strong. If it closes underneath, I think it's relatively weak. That's why I've been harping on Firm this entire time, right? Like this is a name that when we came out, it was at 44.75, trying to break 45. For the majority of this afternoon, it's been underneath that price. As far as I'm concerned, this stock is a sell until proven otherwise. And proven otherwise will be if it breaks out 45. But until then, I want to favor the shorts. I'll probably come in leaning into that tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I like this resistance on the daily chart. I really like to I really like this one to head back into the 200-period moving average. The last time it did this, it was down several days in a row. If it closes red, just do the same rinse and repeat where you can just start trending down. Those are the easiest trades. You come in, short the pops, and then work the trend all the way back into the next support level. Try to keep it simple if you can. And then the other one I like to the long side, and we'll see if it can hold up. I mean, obviously IWM, it was good early, didn't catch the breakout. That's a mea culpa, that's on me. Should have had it, didn't get it. My stock, I can tell you right now, I didn't use the best stop order that we had available. And that's because it was on the Amex. And so I missed that breakout, but it has held that breakout price the entire time on IWM. So the Russell doing what I think you would expect to see happen when you get a Fed day where you get a 50 basis point cut, which is it head to the upside and it's holding on to some of those gains. So I'm out of Intel 21s. It was able to pull back down into 2085. Thankfully, that's the only time we were shorting it and not trying it on the way to set upside. So I'm flat. I'm going to wait till the imbalances come out to do anything else. Or sorry, the early look at the imbalances at 330 to do anything else, or you can wait for that 350 mark when they should drop. I'm not expecting anything big, but I would not be surprised if you see a few big numbers on things like NVIDIA.
And guys, just to let you know, today there's like 2, maybe 3 green traders. It's not been an easy day for sure. But the best part about trading, where we do, is prop trading. So I have something for you. You could join tradethepool.com. Why not do that? You could trade someone else's money, become a funded trader, means trading with firm capital. First, at Trade the Pool, you complete an evaluation. Once you've completed that evaluation, then you can have access up to $260,000 of capital to throw around. You get to keep up to 80% of your profits while the firm covers the risk. It's the perfect way to trade big without risking your own funds. Ready to become a funded trader? Join Trade the Pool today, immediately. Scan the QR code on the screen and the link in description. Thank you to Trade the Pool. And I mean, that just gives you those opportunities to do basically what I'm doing right now, getting in, getting out, paying very, very little fees to do that. And we'll just wait to see here what winds up happening as the market just shoots right back there up to the upside. So yeah, man, yeah, it hasn't been, like I said, hasn't been the easiest day trading, but I feel like as long as you're being pretty consistent with your ideas and with your strategies, even if today wasn't a great day, you'll live to see tomorrow. And I think that's something that's very, very important, especially for a lot of traders that trade prop, you know. It is what it is, right? I mean, some days you'll be good and some days you will be bad. But yeah, it's been good. We're green, obviously, on the month here, so it's been good. And today's very, very much a green day. So hopefully you guys hit the like, hit the subscribe, keep coming back, because as we keep saying, man, this happens every single day.
Yeah, we're here every day, everybody, and that's what it's all about here. So shout out to Trade the Pool. It's still up. Powell's off the podium. I will tell you, there's no point. I don't have to wait till 3:30 to get the early look on the imbalances. I just feel like usually most of the big names
Right.
will matriculate after 3:30, but there are already a few things over 1 million shares in here. Excuse me, BAC 1.7, PCG, again, cheap stock. I don't really usually care about that. It's block here. So Square with an early look, 1 million to buy. Don't know what's up with GME having an early look imbalance of 900,000 to the buy side. I would suppose a few people might find that interesting, but the one that stands out for now would be Block. I would have expected if a payment company is going to have an imbalance, it would have been PayPal, because PayPal was very interesting with the Amazon. I guess the Amazon rumor, it wasn't actually news. It was the Amazon rumor that available on their platform. And the good thing about Block, if it comes out with an imbalance, this is about as defined a range as you're going to see. We've got the same bottom the entire time here since we got the rate cut, and that's at 66.5 or so. You've got a double, maybe even the triple top, if you count that lower high here at 68. So if it does come out a buy imbalance of 1 million, and it's above VWAP for a potential push into 68, this one would set up interestingly. But it's about 20 minutes till you get the actual imbalances. That's just an early look. It doesn't mean there's going to be a buy imbalance on Square. It just means it looks like there will be one currently. So very, very important distinction there. It's just an early look idea of what the open interest would be if they were to drop the imbalances now. You still have about 20 minutes for those to go.
White House talking about Lebanon now. So yeah, there's been some. That pager thing was crazy. Like I was like, what the hell was that?
Yo,
That's like some next like espionage stuff, man. Wow. Okay, that's too bad too. The way that all goes down.
It's like that was like an episode of 24, man.
Too many innocent people, man. It's crazy. Okay, we'll just keep going though on that. All right. And thank you, Hal, and everything there. Just keep on watching, man. I just hope that we can continue to impress you guys. I take those compliments, with sort of a grain of salt. Like, I really appreciate it. I just hope that everybody can easily follow some of these trades and be able to be, profitable in doing this. We talk about how hard it is to become a trader, and we do that all the time. So you guys can look up those stats and everything. Oh, on that note, you know what? This is a new segment that we've sort of created here, and I'm pretty proud to be part of this segment, and let's do it right now. This is What's Your Profits? No, I don't know. We'll figure out a name. That's not going to be that. Right there. The top 10 traders yesterday here at Real Trading. So this is, again, traders that trade on our platform, prop firm, so on and so forth. We had someone crack almost 11,000 yesterday. These are all of these are going to be US dollar, no matter what the market says here. So take that for what it's worth as well. Amex and NASDAQ. So again, someone that would maybe trade the spiders or something like that would be part of that, as well as NASDAQ, and someone in Canada. So lots of opportunities north of the border for anybody looking at that again. And I know, again, our campus program has a lot of Canadian trading in that as well. NASDAQ, Amex, NASDAQ, Canada, So we don't have anything there as far as Europe is concerned from yesterday, but the top Vienna trader right there made 1,800 on that market, but must have lost it somewhere else, right? Oh no, 1,800 doesn't make this list. So right there, 1,800 in Vienna. The NYMEX, someone traded natural gas or oil, Zetra market there. The CSE Hong Kong Mexican market as well. So grab those pesos and get going. But right now, that's where the profit
every market
brought to you by. Yeah, Real Trading. So every market talked about there. If you're someone on the chat is talking about they're in the demo. They really like everything so far. So yeah, thanks again for that. We'll pass on.
I can't lie. I actually forgot that we'd added the market in Mexico. Brazil
avocados and everything.
Traded Brazil before. Avocado prices are
skyrocketing.
They're no joke. They're no joke. My daughter freaking loves avocado. Like that is one of those go-to.
You could put avocado in shawarma,
Oh, heck yeah.
That elevates the shawarma party.
Look, it takes the shawarma party to a whole.
Ramin knows all the hot shawarma places. Ramin, let's order shawarma. We got some super chats.
Friday shawarma.
Friday is shawarma day.
Shawarma and Corona. Sharona? My Sharona?
My Sharona? Is it a Sharona day on Friday?
Why not?
We
used to do the
I'm
brews
not-
on Fridays.
Yeah,
I don't know how we got away from that.
I'm right here.
Well, you weren't here the last couple of. See, that's what happens, man.
What did you guys have?
No, we didn't do it.
Coronas?
No, so the last time we had beers on the
Better not
Friday,
tell my kids we had.
you weren't here, and I was literally drinking by myself because.
Oh, Obi wasn't participating.
No, which is fine. I'm not trying to pressure anybody in anything.
No,
He just
that's
didn't
fine.
feel
We
like
can
having
we'll have it.
so.
We'll have it.
Let's do it.
Someone will send in some Coronas, and if not, we'll send
the boys out to get some.
somebody to go get it anyways.
No.
One avocado does more damage to the planet than my 30-year-old truck does. That's probably not true, but hot take. Okay, so right now 334 market is trying to pull back in a little bit. So we got stopped out on the TQs there at, it might be true, I have no idea. We got stopped out there once we broke through VWAP.
chance.
Really happy with that one there. I don't know. I mean, I don't grow any avocados. I don't know why they would harm the world there, but that individual might. I mean, I do know how petroleum does. Okay, move to the downside. I was looking at Amazon. I don't know. I feel like now we can just actually trade. The market is digested whatever moves. I think it needs to now. Powell's gone. I didn't hear too much from Brendan there that would surprise.
Nothing
I mean,
earth-shaking.
remember when we started this whole thing? Where was the market? Oh yeah, right here. I'm glad that we've traveled up and down and able to make money in this market. But as I look, this is where the futures were at 2 o'clock. 19,700. Where are we now? 19,692. So we're actually flat on the market, if not a little bit down right now. We've roller coaster ride, man, but all these are good. These are shorts. These are longs. We lost into here. We talked about that. This was sketchy, and then that happened. So, yeah, good day, 335 today right now. 25 minutes left. You already showed the imbalances. Plus, this week, this is the third Friday, right? So we do have quad witching. It's quad, right? If not more than that, coming up on Friday, where we'll have more imbalances to come through and more exciting trading. So we did get that 50 basis points. I think it's all clear long. I think tomorrow is going to be a huge long day. If anybody's asking me, I know nobody is, but I think that you could swing everything long tomorrow and hopefully thank me in the morning. If not, yeah, good luck to shorts. I don't know. All I do is trade, man. So, we'll go, like I said, we put on 8 names today. We'll go 8 for 8. And yesterday, I think 7 and 1. It's just been a really good run. We're really reading the markets really, really well. They said go to Neil. So Neil?
Yes, sir. And this afternoon, all the crazy action here brought to you by our good friends at Moomoo. Shaking up the investing game with its cash sweep program, offering an incredible 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, far surpassing typical stock returns. Your cash earns interest 24/7, and you can access it anytime to reinvest when the market turns. Plus, sign up now and snag 15 free stocks and bonuses up to $2,300 in Canada. Don't let your money sit idle. Make it work for you. Shout out to Moomoo. Scan that QR code below. Check the link in the description of this video. That's a good return for you. But now this market really is heading back into the downside. Kind of got away from the shorts and was looking for these imbalances to maybe come out. That might have been a bit of a mistake, but I'm just looking. You can hope all you want, but the litmus I was looking for IWM was, hey, hold on to the previous day high. It's been doing that the entire time. If it can't do it, and we get a 50-point cut, that's not going to bode well. What you don't want to see are false breakouts and reversal candles, because those are the kind of things that trend you back into prior support, whether that's 16 or 14 here. Just double checking where we have been with the short. A firm goes with really a VWAP retracement. That's what it's going to do. Every now and then, VWAP is a line on a chart that gets respected to the penny. I can tell you that is exactly what happened here on a firm. It went right to VWAP, to the penny, and just pulled right back in. I don't know that I want to take this one more time. I feel like Powell ran on a little bit longer than we're used to in here. And as day traders, we're going to be flat at the end of the day. I do want to remind everybody that just because the market closes at 4 o'clock, if you're new here, we're staying till 4:30. The traders are going to stay late. We got Chris Brecher going to come through. Going to make sure, actually have to make sure that he's confirmed by now, but he'll be good to go. And we're going to be able to talk all about what happened with the Fed. Forget about earnings. There's nothing important that's going to be dropping in front of earnings. But we're going to talk about this Fed move, review some of the trades, review all the different markets, how they did the banking sector, how do we do with utilities, how did some of the energy do, and then we'll take some of your questions as well. So the Market Recap Show should always be on your radar. Although there might not be earnings, but don't forget, you never know when news is going to drop. I mean, the Aftermarket Show had Intel.
Yeah, we crushed
Intel booming the other day. You never really know when news is going to hit, so we'll keep our ear to the ground. So if you have any questions that you want to ask for Chris or myself or anything you want us to cover, get that ready because in 20 minutes we're going to flip over to the desk. Although we're going to the desk right now.
Yeah.
With Adara.
Show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving in the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro. Start your free trial today.
We went to there. We just shorted NVIDIA again. I don't, honestly, I know there was just a big lottery that just happened here in Ontario, but we did not win, but I feel like we won. Like this is just, we just shorted NVIDIA at 115. We shorted it multiple times. We just covered multiple bids down here in the 40s. Like, we are really on one right now. That was some great cover. I was only giving this, I mean, VWAP is 40s, was hoping to get a little bit more. We just have a small piece for right now. I'm going to wait on NVIDIA. I was really surprised about how red that name got here. I still think tomorrow's an up day, so shorting NVIDIA into the close, not wise, but I mean, we just took some profits on that one, and it's now 20 plus change here in the money on NVIDIA. So let's just wait. We're giving it a little bit higher into 115 and change now that we are playing with some house money. So let's wait to see if NVIDIA drops. I'm going to put a bid out like 114, sort of flat here, 114, maybe 20s. We'll put a bid down there. If we can get it, we can get it. But right now, there it is again, man. It's another 30-cent winner brought to you this time, not by Mumu, not by Benzinga, but by yours truly, man, the People's Trader. There it is, another 30 cent there, move back in for NVIDIA. And yeah, everything's intact, baby. Nice move to the downside for NVDA. I did hear in my ear that PayPal had met with Jamie Dimon or some people from JP Morgan, but that doesn't appear to be
not moving
anything right now. So we'll hold out on that one.
The early look imbalance on block is gone.
Come on, that video.
So that million buy that was sitting there, at least indicating that there was going to be a buy imbalance on block, is no longer there. The only thing it's still holding up is that PCG. So nothing over 1 million shares on the ye old imbalance locator. Why is that? Oh yeah. I'm like, why does my level 2 for a second there was PayPal? Because you said PayPal, and I was typing something on my level 2, and I literally just typed the thing that you mentioned on PayPal. But no, I like a firm at VWAP. If it's going to hold VWAP exactly, I don't know if we're going to get a chance at 45 again, so we'll probably have one more shot at this. So if we're going down, I want to short the thing that has been the thing that I was shorting before. Just sort of stick to the same plan of action, or at least the same stock, which has worked. I think we missed one short in there. Thank you so much, Adara. Got to stay hydrated. Been talking a lot. What's weird is usually I'm very good about this. Like we come on, it's Fed day, make sure I have a full water. Forgot to do that, so I finished that right quick.
Yeah, I see here. What's up, Trader Forever? This is the thing. He says gutsy there on shorting NVIDIA, but I told you from time, man. It's built different, right? So we'll do it. We'll try it. I understand it's gutsy, but hey, man, no pain, no gain. That is for sure. And today it's all about those gains as we'll short NVIDIA and just give it one more shot here into that bottom spot. We're just bouncing off that 60 area. Let's just put another bid there. I mean, if it does fall back in, we'll take 40 cents. Like, let's just bid 61s. Put another 40 cent on there. I do agree. This is a little risky, especially the fact that I'm thinking bullish into tomorrow. So let's do that right now. Put that out there and try to go, right? I mean, like I said, it's a game and we're here to play it, and hopefully we can continue. Did we just get that? Oh. All right, there it is again. It's always good when I find myself more speechless, I feel like. Yeah, I don't know if that was an FU candle or not, but there we go to the downside again. So we've had quite the great move here in our net. However, the market kind of just stays muted, right? I mean, a couple good trades there on NVIDIA. Eventually, we lost that. We told you that we were up on NVIDIA here today, and we only started trading it right there. So now we are very up on NVIDIA as this short's going to cash in. Everything we've touched today has been so far so good. Not to jinx it or anything, but I don't think we'll be into too much more. The futures were really like, this is like by the skin of our teeth, sort of, where we were able to get that short, make money, get that long, make money, lose it there. Again, just like average into that. That was dangerous. And you're probably not going to hear anybody talk the way I do, but we were almost red on the name there, and it just came right back down. So that was pretty lucky. And is it luck, though, when you're playing off VWAP and VWAP holds and then this happens? I don't know if that's luck or if that's strategy, but I'm going to go with the latter because it's worked. So there it goes to the downside. We did hold 10 or 20% and got stopped out there for that. But I mean, things are working today, and it's been so far so good. As NVIDIA right now, 50 cents in the money. It may be our ride or die into the close. That might be what we wind up doing there, and just waiting on that. So market is now, I don't even know what I voted. I voted green, but I don't
let's check
know.
the poll. I know I voted red, but that was, I mean, in the moment,
Yeah.
like I simply said, whatever we trend after 2:30 is pretty much my vote every single time, right? So we made some highs, and then at 2:30, we were like trending downside. Like it was lower highs all the way through after that. It's actually 50-50. 51% green, 49% red. Obviously, at this point, I mean, if people are still voting now, if you're voting green, it doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. But a firm lower high for me off of VWAP in there. So that's the one I decided to reload. Imbalances are going to drop in 4 minutes, but there's still time. So we just got into this one at 30s. Fire at 10, so I'm just going to get out in front of that. If it never breaks the even at 44, want to make sure we take some profit out in front of that on a firm. Someone just asked what happened with Intel. I mean, Intel's still underneath VWAP in 21. 21 no good, never got to VWAP. Same low as it had before. So 2080 still the bottom over there on Intel, down 3%. Yeah, not a very nice day for them. If the market's flat and you're down 3%, that's usually not a good thing. And remember, the market was just all happy about the real spin-off thing that they're going to think about doing with the new reporting structure and a new board for their foundry business. That didn't last very long. Intel still has a lot of things to work through. A lot.
We just went, now we're 80 cents in the money on this NVIDIA trade that we just put on. Thank you so much. I never even seen this individual before, the beautiful Gate. Thank you so much for acknowledging and for just recognizing that, right? I mean, most of the trades I put on are very, very easy to explain, and we don't just go back and forth with it, right? We stay with our trades. We talk about where some of our ins and our outs are, and I mean, that's the whole point of what we're doing. So again, thank you so much. Go follow me at TraderTV Sean, both on Instagram and on X. So, okay. We now only have 10% left, or not even 10%. Actually, I don't know how many shares I had. So let's just say we have a portion left of this trade. It's $1 in the money, and oh my gosh, Neil. Now, I mean, now it's $1. Oh, we can hit this one too. $1 now on this name as it just continues, man, to make that money to the downside. We'll see. I haven't actually looked at a firm. I know you're in that, so that's going to be a good one. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, it's just been a day again. Like there it is, like NVIDIA. We just shorted. We built this trade with you guys. Talked about where our stop was and everything. We wanted more, we didn't get it. But there's the downside push for NVIDIA. Absolutely rocking right now today. So good trading, good everything. It's a pole position kind of day. And then we'll just wait to see what happens. I do go back and forth with some of the positions every day, like even right now, right? I mean, this is why we say, find out who you are. These are longs, these are shorts. So long NVIDIA, short NVIDIA. Just fits out perfectly. And like they say, like a glove goes the trading today. So yeah, good call. We'll wait for 350. And if we get stopped out on this, we get stopped out on this. Where are we going to get stopped out? Pretty much breaking through, maybe where we're long at, 115 or so, but a nice downside push. Actually, you know what? We don't even need to take the risk right now. Let's just bid this out. We'll put an 08 bid. That's it. We'll close that off. It's a hot dog cannon kind of day. Finite. I am now done. I'm not going to have the discipline to shut it down. We're at a huge level for us today. We've really been printing, and we'll just continue with that. Good times, good rolling, good trading there. We'll get out of NVIDIA. Why risk it into the imbalances, right? We've already hit our goals many times ago. So let's sit on our hands now and just be patient. What a great day it's been. Thank you so much for all the support again. And hey, Neil, they keep coming back. We must be doing,
every single day. We're
doing something right.
And that's what we're going to try and do every single day. You let us know. I saw someone who was looking at DXY in there. Yeah, you know, I feel like one of the things on a Fed day, you want to maybe scan all the different indicators out there. Like we should know what the dollar's doing, TLT. I know we talked about IWM. We looked at some of the banks, but you can always do a little bit more. And I feel like that's one thing I want to look at. The DXY is breaking out the highs. I want to acknowledge it. I'm just trailing. It's not a trailing stop. My stop is at the lower high. So we short it, fail VWAP, didn't short VWAP, could have. But shorting the lower high in here, my out is going to be if it breaks that local top. So if this is the range of the last 20 minutes or so, then out if it breaks that lower high. If it breaks 44, I want to get out underneath. Imbalances will drop in less than 1 minute. There's nothing that, like I said, nothing's really standing out going into it. We'll just have to play it by ear. I do want to have NVIDIA up. I feel like it's had some big imbalances recently. So I'm going to have a level 2 of NVIDIA just in case it comes out with a big imbalance. The biggest imbalances are going to come on Friday. So, you know, when you come back here, whatever numbers drop in 20 seconds or so on Friday, there will be a lot of symbols that are over 1 million. You might see a couple here, but on Friday, you're going to want to hold on to your hats. I'm expecting big things for Palantir and Dell, but expectations are just a part of the story. You just got to trade what's out in front of you. For now, I feel like NVIDIA usually is the one with the big imbalance. I want to have that level 2 up just in case it's an actionable trade. All right, so Intel sell 3.5 million, TLT sell 1.4, Amazon buy 1.2 million, NVIDIA sell but only 900,000. That's a nothing burger for NVDA. But the market breaking the lows once again. We'll get the overall number just a second from Adara. But I'm seeing Amazon's the buy. It looked a little bit mixed here. AVGO is a sell of 800,000. Not gigantic. Intel's the only one that has any size on it, and it's a relatively cheap stock. The overall market's 375 million to the buy side. NASDAQ's 215 to sell. The Mag 7's 120 to sell. That's kind of a nothing burger.
You also have to know, who you are as a trader, right? We talk about that, like right there, Affirm, very slow mover. You can still definitely trade that. Since that Affirm is just hovering around, like we got out of NVIDIA. Like NVIDIA's moving dollars now. Like it just dropped 50 cents right there flat. Like we got out there at 08, thought we were doing pretty good. It just touched right there 51s, right? And so again, that's another advantage of being at a prop floor. You could sit there like in that Affirm and wait for it, or go over to something more aggressive like NVIDIA and just bang it out like that. So, I mean, again, understand all of that. Trade the pool, Trader TV Live, real trading, the prop opportunities for you right there. NVIDIA right back into those lows. So, yeah, man, down 1.5%. Hey, the market can't be green tomorrow without NVIDIA. This might be worth a little bit of a move right there for NVDA if you're looking for some trading. I think NVIDIA could be there tomorrow. So we'll wait for that. Again, Intel with the big sell. I mean, wow.
It's not that big.
No, but I mean, the big sell-off today, down 3%.
Oh, yeah, the
I mean,
move, yeah.
Double what NVIDIA's down. And this is basically here a NFT that we have this trade. This is a real trade on Intel. So right there, nice move to the downside. And again, if you are looking, I know we have a lot of viewers at Trader TV. Sean posted up every single day is the sticky note. Make sure you go over and have a quick look at that right there. First of all, here's the sticky note right there, Google 159 long. I attached my trade at 9:30, 159 long. That's 160.50 right there to get out. There's the 159 long, right? And there's the 160.50 talk right there, or what is it? 160.20, sorry, out. So there's the long early, a couple outs as we scalp. And we actually hit our day goal with this trade, but since then now it's been more than triple that back there to the upside. You never know what you're going to see on days of Fed. So there it is, man. I guess you just closed your Affirm trade. Only 7 minutes left.
Yeah, I just saw this question in the chat. Tab TV Gaming, I'm assuming you mean Apple. Not APPL. You must mean Apple is a sell. I didn't see an imbalance on Apple. I'm actually going to have to search alphabetically for it to be able to find it. But it wasn't significant. That's all. That's the first thing I can tell you. There we go. AAPL should be right down in here. It is a sell imbalance, 660,000, but that's small. That's a small imbalance for Apple. The paired volume is 4.3 million, so not terribly big. And I think that's more of a nothing burger than anything else. So my last position, like I said, tighten up the stop. When you get to 350 and 355, generally speaking, it's either going to break the low and head back into the bottom, or I'm going to tighten the stop. Earlier in the day, you might give it a little bit more room, but I feel like at the end of the day, you have time on your hands, but you don't have time till the close. So we got about 5 minutes to go before the close. I'm going to mosey to the desk in just a couple of minutes. We're going to have Chris Brecher. We're going to go over pretty much every single sector that we can. I feel like I neglected the banks. I know we talked about it a little bit in here, but the financials did absolutely nothing. They held the bottoms of the range, not participating in the up move at all. And then my personal vendetta against SoFi, I jinxed it because I was like, hey, maybe SoFi is going to hold above 830 to give a swing entry for the week. And I probably said that somewhere in and around here. And since then, it's 830 resistance for SoFi. And why do I say this level? Just wanted it taken out that top. On the 15-minute, that's the top. On the daily, that's been the big top it's trying to get through. So another fail on SoFi. I want to see the buyers hold this level, which they've been unable to do for like half a year now.
Yeah, SoFi's a dumpster fire. That is for
Agreed.
sure. Okay, so yeah, man. Yeah, good show today. Good luck with the after show there with Mr. Brecher. Okay, Tesla. We were like basically kind of like one and done down here at 229. It's starting to fade out there as well. Nvidia's doing its own thing. Neil just went over Affirm. We could check out Palantir. Like Pal and nothing today. You are not a pal of mine. Although we are up today on Palantir. But it wasn't anything super exciting. We did hit that short. We wrote down 36.50 as a short. So we hit that there, and then eventually got stopped out. But, you know, when this is what I'm talking about. When you're stopping out for 3 cents right there, but making, I don't know, 20, 30 cents, it's going to work out for you more often than not. So good trade there for us on PLTR today. I'm exhausted as well, man. I mean, we'll get some sleep in there today. The kids... my daughter's been up early last couple of days. Nothing tonight, so that's lucky.
Okay.
Yeah, not much tonight. Maybe more shawarma parties. Other than that, take Belle for some walks. It's her birthday, so happy birthday to Belle. Turns 5 this year. Probably go
Get her
to
a breakfast. Get her a treat.
Yeah, my daughter's making some sort of a cake, so I don't know how disastrous that's going to be. She made my cake yesterday, and that was really sweet. So, yeah, that's that, man. How about Microsoft?
I'm going to mosey on.
Okay.
It's got a great day trading today. Stick around. We got the aftermarket show in just a few minutes. Take them into the close.
You're muted anyways, so it's all good. All right. Thank you, Neil, for all of that. All right. Let's just keep on going here as we go. So quite the professional. We're always muting ourselves so you don't have to hear us talk back and forth. So he was just saying great day trading and everything like that. So thank you for that one. All right. Yeah, there goes Apple. Only 3 minutes left to go. Let's just check on some of the major indices right now. Let's see what USO is doing again. United States oil today. On Fed Day, you expected a little something. It was also inventories, right? Today's Wednesday. Yeah, so it was oil inventories. You see that action right there at 10:30 where the move started to go to the downside. So we'll have to watch out for that on oil. USO making a downside push. The NASDAQ will be red today, down 0.43. Into that move. So we'll wait, see if there's some kind of a pushback in USO. We talked about gold was at all-time highs earlier. Now it's a pretty down move right there in GLD. Bitcoin at the bottom, you can see. We'll just check. You know what? Let's just check IBIT for that one. So right now Bitcoin, so gold down 0.7. Let's just check out what IBIT and what Bitcoin's been doing throughout the day. 0.31. Pretty flat there to go. What else do we want to check out? We checked out the home builders. They were pretty hot early. Have they faded? Yes, they have. So they now go red as well. The NASDAQ bringing everything down. How's our friends in China doing? Friend or foe, depending on if you're long or short, I guess. Right there, FXI down as well today. Silver. Let's go figure this out. What's happening right now in silver? Down 2.5%. So that's not a great move there. Let's do a little bit of this. I mean, if you had the day like I had today, you are allowed to partake. Well, you can always partake in whatever you want. But let's go check out what MSOS is doing here. As cannabis today is down 1.09%. Let's check out our friends in the Dow and figure out what the Dow is doing today. All right, so Dow Jones right now down 0.2, so a little bit of a day there. We'll stop. Let's go one more on the SPY. Neil's going to go over so many different indices anyways. I'm just trying to go over the main ones. Spider right now down 0.22. So the market definitely reacting to this 50 basis point rate cut. Someone asked me earlier this morning, I know it was kind of mixed on our desk. I just went with the odds, man. I saw it. We were 65 yesterday. We were about 59 there right before the number dropped. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Is that what you said there, Fabian? Thank you for that. With 1 minute left, we've got the countdown ready to go. Adara will be on the bell. We'll finish at our highest spot. We are very, very proud, of course, today to share the podium with the man behind us. Its name is Obi. So congratulations, Obi, for another day behind us there. Good job there, Obi. The meditation appears to be working. All right, only 40 seconds left now. We'll ring that bell. We'll get a 10-cent countdown ready to go very, very soon. That market close imbalance was slight, and right now we don't have anybody on there. WFC, Amazon, Nvidia, all with bids here into the close. Oh, I got to cancel my stop orders here. Not many stop orders filled for me today, but right there, we have got a lot of targets that filled, which was really nice to see. So we'll cancel some stop losses. Today's bell. Okay, gotta get ready. We are getting ready to go right now. Oops, I always hit the wrong one. Roll call. It's the countdown now. Today's bell brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. There it is. Thank you. They're revolutionizing brain health. We want to thank Firefly for once again sponsoring 2 and 1. There it is. We are now closed. Thanks, Adara, for that one. It is now 4 o'clock. Wow, wow, wow. What a day. Markets will end the day on their lows. So, okay, we'll see if the market turns tomorrow. I like to think that, they'll analyze this. They'll get it all figured out. The rate cut cycle has started, and it started with a vengeance, man. It was 50 basis points, little more than was expected earlier in the month. But as we approached it, we got exactly what the market thought it was going to get today. It's a big day. It's probably my best day of the month. I want to thank everybody for watching, man. And I just hope to do the same thing tomorrow. We'll be back with the sticky note, all. But for right now, it's Chris Bretcher, it's Neil, and it is your market recap show. We're good to go. All right, thanks, everybody. Ciao.
All right, we're back at it. It's market close. We got the recap show in here. We got what was expected, although not everybody thought we were going to get a 50-point cut from the Fed. A lot of people think it was going to be a 25. It was 60-40 for the last few weeks. I mean, the 65 was about the top end of that range. It ended like 59-60 right before it came out. Our poll was showing 60% thought it was going to be a quarter point, and I was sort of in that camp just because I thought that's what they should do, but it doesn't matter. You got the 50-point move, but unfortunately, you didn't get the continuation rally. Now, the NASDAQ might only be down 0.5 here, but let's just be real. This was an overall red board, a very, very red board. Let's get it out of the way right in here. Just start with this NASDAQ, which tried to go higher initially. We all saw it. It was looking pretty solid initially off of that move. And I'm going to talk about levels like post decision, right? So first things first, you were breaking out that top. It looked strong. You're holding those higher lows. Everything was looking good on that 50 basis point cut. And then all of a sudden everything switched. And that's going to be after 2:30. You got before 2:30, after 2:30. That's when you put in lower high 1, lower high 2, lower high 3, and end up closing on the lows. Overall, pretty red day across the board. You're going to see here gold, silver down, USO down, natural gas down, SMH down 1%. And this is one that I'm a bit worried about. You lost the low, the NASDAQ at the low, SMH lost the low, and more importantly, for this one, I don't like what I see on the daily chart. Obviously, this is the 50-period moving average, which just got respected once, which just got respected twice, and I'm talking about the wrong way, not the right way. So we're trending back into this 200-period moving average. The good news is, and I know we had Danielle Shea on recently talking about this, the 200-period moving average on the semiconductor index, at least the SMH here, has been a good place to buy. So at least if we trend down into that, you've got that for a little bit of support here over on the semis, which we know move markets. You can't talk semis without talking about NVIDIA and sort of echoing what we've had happen there. Yeah, similar chart? Of course it's a similar chart. You've just rejected this 50 period, maybe not as directly, but that's what's happening here. And I had to draw the trend line in. It was very clean on SMH, just that 200 period moving average that it was holding on to. NVIDIA is way too strong to have retested its 200 period moving average. So I drew a little bit of a trend line to show you when we've been bouncing on SMH, this is where we've been going on NVIDIA. If we were to retest that in the near term, you're talking about 105, 106 on NVIDIA, which lines up with previous post-earnings support. That's what I'm going to be watching out for, particularly on NVIDIA in the next 2 days here, is this bottom, this 105.90, 106 on that trend line. Nice distinct trend line. If you're looking at the SMH, you got the 200 period moving average. If you're looking at NVIDIA, you have a slightward compression trend here. So higher highs, higher lows on that particular name. Not a great reaction here on GLD. When you look at gold, though, everything has to come into context. And context would tell you if you're pressing fresh highs into the decision, some profit taking even on gold. Now, remember, this might seem counterintuitive here. If rates are going down, then all of a sudden there aren't as many places to park your money, and then gold should become, if you think about it, like maybe more attractive. But this was rallying going into it. So I think there's just some profit taking coming in. And if you look at this on the daily, the trend is still very much intact back into prior highs on GLD. But I don't wonder if you're not waiting for that 50 period moving average on a pullback in gold. I think you want to be very, very cautious with this one. A lot of profit being taken, I think, up at some of those tops. And that 50 period kind of lining up on GLD at 228. If you look at GDX, same move, wick the high, wait for the higher lows to come back in. Nice structure here with GDX. But certainly not a very, very good look at the top end of anything here in today. Somehow ARC up 0.26%. Not really sure what drove them the most. And then a bit of a nice move there on energy to end the day. Here's the problem, though, and you're going to see it here when I line this chart up. The XLE still holding the downward trend. I'd like to say that it's moved this trend line like the previous one from before. You just move it up a little bit, but it's still lower highs and lower lows. This just wicked the 200 period moving average today and did a bit of a reversal. So what it looks like on the 3-minute chart, and this isn't necessarily the best look in the world, wicks that 200 period and then falls to the downside. So a major moving average there for the XLE gets tested and immediately rejected. So now you have a bit of a reversal candle on the daily. I don't wonder if we're not going to retest the bottom of that channel. So if you like some of those energy names, if you're like Randy liking that XOM, maybe you wait for that bottom to come back in there, because the XLE is not doing anything to tell me that that trend is any different. I see a lot of people, I see in the chat, NVIDIA still falling. Yeah, NVIDIA, even after market, loses the low of the day. Now you're down in the 113. This is exactly the concern that I have with the SMH. This is exactly the concern that I have with NVIDIA as well. Retesting some of these lows feels like an almost inevitability at this particular point. So I think we're going to run into a little trouble there. There was some strength overall in some consumer discretionaries early on. And even those, like you had Amazon strength, you had Tesla strength. I'm just thankful to have gotten away from Tesla, because that's the one that could have been a little bit of a disaster. Tesla ending up actually flat on the day, 0.4 to the downside. But if you've been eyeballing this 235 level over and over and over again, it just kept testing. Today on Fed, we said we'd get a test of that level. Oh, it did, and it failed it. And it failed it spectacularly. There's your 235. It broke. It gave you the 50-cent move. And then now it just trend into the downside. So a lot of times you can trap longs in moves like this. I think the news would, I don't think it had enough time to trap any longs up there on 235 Tesla. But I don't like that reversal. It's still very much intact, that resistance point on Tesla. And it could be a little bit of trouble for them. Not a lot of strength to work in for this market. But if you are going to try and pick some out there, you can do a heck of a lot worse than something like an Amazon. Flat day for them. I think flat is good on a day like today. This was at least able to hold some of those lows. When you slap the daily chart up here, nice consolidated move. There was no top-end failure for Amazon. So when I look at this, a little bit better than what I saw. Did not break out and fail those highs, just held a consolidation top. So upward trend good, above the 50, above the 200. I like this a little bit better if we have a recovery day in there tomorrow. And you want to have that plan of action. It's a really good time to assess moves after you get a rate day. Ciao, Sean. Have fun. Enjoy. Hopefully some leftover short if you get it there. But Sean just making his way out. A great day of trading. I like Amazon in here because I want to see things that just held up a little bit better. I want to group things into stocks of I prefer the long here. Post-Fed, I prefer the short. NVIDIA, I prefer the short right now. A firm, you already know I prefer the short, the way it reacted to that 45 level. Tesla, I don't know if we see that 235. But Amazon, what I like about it is you're holding on to the same support bottom. The market was breaking lows, and Amazon was holding the line. It was just holding the line at that 186. It's a higher low from the day, and it was the same low the entire afternoon. And as a matter of fact, it's still bouncing. That's what you want to do when you're separating things into two groups. Do you like it long? Do you like it short? You guys let me know what you might be looking at. Ruth is like, NVIDIA could become resistance. Other Zinc is also talking about NVIDIA. It's just a lot of NVIDIA on everybody's mind. I still think this is going to be a weak stock, but let's not sleep on a few other things that were moving around. What did we get early on in this week that we're all forgetting about? It was Apple. It was concern over Apple's demand. And look, whether or not you're discounting prices in China, they do this every single cycle. So if you think it's not a big deal, I don't necessarily disagree with you when it comes to Apple on that. But Apple, much like, not exactly the same as Amazon, Apple's going to end not just green today, up 2 points, above VWAP today. And it's going to end with a series of higher lows. So we started off looking at Apple for the long. It eventually turned red. I mean, we had the rate decision come out, and it was holding on to VWAP. It eventually turned red, trend down. But look at what happened at 3 o'clock. A series of higher lows on Apple, which I like. Now, that's what you want to see. So as we're sort of grouping some names out there, that's a good look. There's a but coming. You probably could have sensed that. The only but for Apple is you essentially today topped out at exactly the 50 period. And if you look at these closes, opens and closes, there's been one time we've actually had, two times that we've had an open above the 50 period on the daily. Both of those were red days on Apple. So I think you can play longs on Apple into the 50 period moving average. The problem with that is you need it to open above and then continue. I think longs into it, and then you want closes above that can open and hold that next day. That's a big line in the sand. So you're just laying out some plans there on AAPL. I think it should be a big one. And if you're ever trading some Apple, the other thing to keep in mind is going to be ARM, right? Like ARM has been moving lockstep ever since they announced that a lot of the chips all of their chips are going to be using Apple technology on the new phone, so heavily embedded there. It's been following along rather nice on Apple. If Apple loses the bid, I'm looking flat bottom break on ARM, and it's about as clear to see. I don't have the flat bottom break graphic here. It's usually one that I have in my other stream deck. But if you have support that turns into resistance and you hold the same line, it's about 135 here on ARM. It's going to set this one up for you. I'm going to go from a 3-minute to a 15-minute. I like the 15-minute when you're looking at these potential bottom breaks. So let's just slap our trade ideas into a 15-minute chart. That's one of my favorite time frames. We'll zoom it out. This is what I'm getting at here for 135 on ARM. You fail 150, you get all the good news for Apple, you fail a lower high, and you've got this 135 flat bottom potential break going into the end of the week. That's the kind of level, when it happens, I take the break. Usually you want to give it the buck. It's the kind of trade that can give you like $5, $10 worth of a move, so you want to risk it to get the biscuit on it. Generally speaking, if I take a trade like that, it's going to be my focus. If I lose on it, it should be my biggest loser that day. If I win on it, it should be my biggest win. If that's not the case, I've done something wrong. But ARM definitely looking like a flat bottom breaker at that 135. So I feel like this is going to be one for me going in the next couple of days. We're expecting Chris to come through at 4:15. I don't even know if he's here yet. He is here? Okay, so I think we're just sort of setting up here, waiting for Chris Brecher. Always fun to have him on. You always want to get the perspective of different traders during a day like today. Like you would have seen myself kind of focused on Firm a lot and IWM, which one I want to go to next. You saw Sean with the focus on NVIDIA and the Qs, and that's what you have to do. Everyone has a different perspective. It was new for me to go to the IWM. And the reason I went to IWM today was simply, hey, who usually moves? What's going to move the most on a 50 basis point cut? Well, everyone talks about the small caps. Well, the breakout today for me was always going to be IWM, and mea culpa, flat out, I missed it today. You know, if you rewind to the beginning of the afternoon show as we were going on our plans, we came in early to lay out the plans, and I was like, IWM taking out the top. If we get a 50 basis point cut, IWM taking out the top. And then after that, my next comment was, well, if you go to a 15-minute, you go to a dip, I'm going to like the initial dips back in a previous high. And when you zoom the 15-minute, that's what we started doing. I didn't get the breakout trade, but you can't worry about the trade that you missed. You got to make the trade that's out in front of you. And then what happened is it came into the previous top. There's your bounce on the 15-minute with a retest of the high. You get a shot at that. You get maybe one or two shots at that trade. You missed the breakout. You're going to get one or two shots at that trade. After it loses a bit, it just felt like everything else. And that's important as a trader. You know, you can say, don't let the stock off the hook. Don't cry over spilt milk. You have all evening, or whatever it is for you. Maybe it's your commute. Maybe you don't think about trading in the evening, or maybe you can think about it in the morning to go over what you could have done differently. In the moment, you've got to just try to jump over to the next trade. And if we're trending up and I know I want IWM, then I let the next trade set up. And that was simply a retest of that high. I don't love the fact that it pulled all the way back in, but IWM does still end up green. So I don't want to completely throw it out as a long idea tomorrow. I'm going to have to give it the benefit of the doubt. But Apple looks a little better. That Amazon does still look a little bit good. I do believe now we are locked and loaded. Hey, time for a little trader talk. Special edition on a Fed day with Mr. Brecher. Chris Brecher.
How you doing?
Good to see you in there here, Senior Managing Director from Simpler Stocks. Look, Chris, anytime it's a Fed day is always going to be big, but this was different. This was a contested rate decision, one where we knew we were getting a cut. What we didn't know was how big the cut was going to be. The futures market was pricing in, it was 60% chance that it was going to be a 50 basis point cut. A lot of analysts were saying the other way. Our poll and our chat was saying 60%, 25 basis point. We got to 60. We got volatility. What were you doing going into it? And what are your thoughts just briefly coming out of it before we get into some individual names?
All right, number one, I showed everybody I thought it would be a 50 cut. And one of the reasons is, regardless of what he says, you got the election coming up. I just don't see him cutting every 0.25 all through the year. So get one of them done. And the other is you wonder when they're going to worry about the deficits. So I predicted the 0.5, but then I told everybody, if it's 0.5, does that mean the markets are going down? It doesn't mean anything. But what we didn't hear is I don't usually get that adamant intraday. But when you were up here, I told everybody, I said, this is stupid. Why on earth are we up like that? We rallied into this statement in the first place. So if the markets were down here, that's different. But the markets had done this on a daily, and it just seems stupid to me for it to be up 50. So we actually bought puts when the ES was up 50, but we did it as spreads. So we basically bought an SPX spread and made about 25% on it. So it's pretty cool to make 25% on the spread. The other thing we did, it was all about buying on rumor, selling on news. And I'll show you these arrows in a second why I think it's so important. But all we did in here was this. So many different indexes. This is like the quadruple ETF of the housing. Nail. So as you see, that went straight up. Another buy on rumor, sell on news. Gold. Buy on rumor, sell on news, and so on. TLT, I still don't know why everybody was so bullish on TLT. So it rallied into the Fed thing, and what the Fed did is more inflationary. So that should hurt the longer term bond, which it did. So that's pretty cool that we called all that, but it was all about the buy on rumor, sell on news, and definitely taking advantage of individual chart patterns as well. So that was a big deal too.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Like, it's important to remember, like, that SPY, you literally wicked the all-time high. So that's usually a bit of a reversal going into it. Like, are you really going to sustain that? Especially when there was a lot of people saying that that 50 basis point cut was going to be a little bit, potentially signaling a little bit more panicky. Chris, we have a super chat in here, so I hope you don't mind, but JKL146 here just gave us $5. Thank you so much to our viewers, and thank you for the super chat, JKL. Do you feel the Band-Aid has been pulled and uncertainty is gone so the market can resume? So I have an idea what you might say here, because resume, like, technically speaking, we're in an upward trend, right? So resume, in theory, JK, I'm assuming you mean resume to the upside. But just quickly for myself, the fact that you just wicked the top on the SPY, I think you usually do a pullback after that. Resume could mean go down for a little bit and then catch the 50 period and bounce. I think that would be reasonable for resume. I would like maybe, I think the Russell looks a little bit better, but the SPY, I tend to think we could be going down for a couple of days here, at least for the rest of the week on the SPY until we catch a bit of a bid. What are your thoughts?
Well, I want everybody to mute me if I just say we're going to continue to be volatile. I mean, it's like, don't say that. That's ridiculous. I look at it this way, like the XLU here, we shorted it, but we were sure we were right when it broke that trend line on the right. So we're out. But the key for me is going to be these couple of charts I'll show you. Number one, we went back all the way here. Let me show you, because I think it's pretty cool. But, I think anything with the markets are cool. But I'll show you what we're talking about. So we went here and we looked at the last Fed cuts, 2019 and then 2003 and 4. And you might be like, why didn't you take the other ones, like 2008 and 2000? And what happened with COVID? If it's teetering on the brink of disaster, the economy, the cuts usually don't help. Usually the markets still go down after the first cut. So we decided to look at the ones that, especially 2019, that if you look at what the Fed said, a mid-cycle adjustment. That's it, mid-cycle. So all they thought is that the markets would be a little weak. I mean, the economy, but not bad. And the inflation they weren't going to worry about. Yeah, it sounds familiar. What you're going to notice in here is when they cut, the markets, especially the September one, the markets went down. And, I know I've been a broken record about this, but the reason it went down is also because of lack of buybacks. So, I talk about that all the time, the buyback blackout window. So I thought I'd go back and show you. So here's September 2019 using the rewind function on Thinkorswim. And here's the 2 days after the Fed. So we're going to September 20th. And you'll see on here that the markets got nailed. Yeah, rallied in anticipation of the Fed, then went down. Yeah, does that look familiar? But it's also because that's when the buyback blackout window started. So what's interesting is the next cut they had was October 31st. Then it was able to get over this rectangle. So really what happened is you stayed in this rectangle for a month. And then the next cut, coupled with buybacks resuming, this broke out. So it was able to break out. So pretty exciting. You'll see it on the left. And it just kept going.
what I love about that is like it confirms sort of like the gut feel after what happened here, and anytime, which is, I think you did a bit of a reversal. I think you should reasonably go down for a couple of weeks, catch a bit of a bid as things calm down, and that's confirmed by the data. What I think the most important, well, I love everything you were saying there, Chris, because it kind of aligns with what I'm thinking in a general sense, but also I think the most important thing you mentioned is when you're back testing things like that, it's very, very important to remember the difference in cuts during COVID, the difference in cuts during the financial crisis, and right now. Like what you don't want to have, what you don't want to do is put irrelevant data into your sample. And I shouldn't say irrelevant's not the right word, but I mean obviously we can understand that it was a different economy, it was a different market for those types of cuts, and those are generational types of things, and maybe that's going to skew your data a little bit. That's a very important point. I'm glad you made that, Chris. But I do want to ask you, just in a general sense, the other thing that we have happening this week, obviously Fed today is a big deal. On Friday, we've got witching options expiration. We've got quarterly rebalancing. We've got Palantir and Dell going into the S&P 500. We've got it's Etsy and American Airlines going into like the mid and then small, going out of the big. Is there anything specific that you look for on a witching day or on a rebalance day? Do you have plans for a trade going into it? Do you stay away from those? I know as a day trader, it's a pretty big opportunity at the close. Sometimes those additions and deletions can be trades for us. Is that something that you're looking at going into the week? Because we still have some events. That's a big one coming up Friday.
Not like it used to be. So it used to be, let's say Dell's going in. I'm talking about before you had decimals, let's say, and it was eighths. And they'd have, let's say Dell had 10 million to buy. And the stock, let's say, is, let's say 26. All of a sudden they'd show the indications bid 30, offer 35. So you throw into short 10,000 like 35. I mean, that seems like a layup. Now it moves like 5 cents. So not as good, but it does matter on some other stuff. I don't look at the Dells as much as I look at the quarter rebalancing. And the S&P rebalances, hedge funds rebalance every month at the end of the month with bonds versus stocks, the 50-50 funds. But the S&P themselves is this Friday, like you said. And a lot of times what happens is the companies that have bought back the most stock are the ones that have to be rebalanced to the downside. Yeah, that's Apple. So that's Google. That's Meta. So that's NVIDIA. That's Microsoft. So you could actually get some pressure on those Mag 7 on Friday.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? As you say that, like back in the old days, the very first time that I did a very good close trade, back in the day, Intel was kind of a big deal. They aren't now. It doesn't really matter. But it was just like you said, like the things that had been doing buybacks had to be rebalanced to the downside. And so the market on close structure was different back when you had super montage and SOs and all that. So there was no Reg NMS. You would have gateways that would be bidding up here when the closing print had already happened like 2% down. And so there was an arbitrage trade where I anticipated a down weight on Intel that day because of exactly what you said. And I just sat there on the bid. I'm like, okay, bid some here, bid more there, more there. Like, if I get everything, that means it closed a couple of points down. And then that late arbitrage on the other gateways, you just try to get out as fast as you can. And that's what used to be like that. You used to make a lot of money trading that way. Everything is completely different now in the market. But the principle is still there of looking for those bigger cap tech names to be some sell imbalances. So we can still scalp trade that a little bit live on Friday, but in a general sense, anyone that's looking for weakness or maybe a reason to trim some on over their big cap holdings, if you think we're getting a near-term pullback, that's a very important point. It is those big names like the Microsofts and the Apples that have been doing those buybacks that can often have the sell imbalances on Friday, not necessarily. And I'm not saying there won't be an event on Palantir or Dell. I'm still hoping maybe you catch a really easy trade, but it's not as easy as it used to be, Chris.
Right, but there are two things I thought I'd show you real quick because I know I'm probably taking too much of your time. Number one, SPX, like you see right here, testing the all-time high. This is 2019. Believe it or not, looks the same. So you take, let's say, 2000 on the 25th in 2019, and the market got toasted. That's back then. Now look at it. Heck, it looks exactly the same. It's amazing.
Yep.
So it doesn't mean it won't go up later. I think once buybacks resume at the end of October, then you can break out of this rectangle. So that's one thing. But the other is something that probably a lot of people want to know is that. So right now there's a massive disparity between the NASDAQ and the S&P. Now they had been going up exactly the same since the end of last year. So they had gone very similar charts, very, very, very similar. So let me show you in here. There, very similar. So they had the sell-off, the rally, the sell-off, the rally, the sell-off, the test of the high. This didn't. So right now, what I'm watching, and there's a real method to my madness here. So what I'm watching is the NASDAQ, if it doesn't hold this 50 moving average, I know you talked about Apple with that.
Yep.
If that doesn't hold, then you got to think the S&P goes back to the 50, which is 100 points. Now, if those Mag 7 do get for sale on Friday, that could be enough to move that NASDAQ under the 50. So if they start looking weak on Friday, you got to look at leaning short the S&P. So I'm very much going to be keen on the big NASDAQ stocks for direction in the S&P. And keep in mind another thing. Somebody asked about the resumption of the rally. We've had a massive rally into the Fed. I mean, my goodness, we've gone from 5,400 to 5,680. So we've already had the rally into the Fed, and everybody is stuck long. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go up tomorrow. I'm just saying, if I'm buying anything, I want to buy the NASDAQ or NASDAQ stocks. But then you have that thing you said about the rebalance. So it might take till next Monday for that to really resume on the upside.
I tend to agree with that. And a lot of traders have been on that. You know, if you get that sell-off, sometimes the Monday buys are really good on the things that printed down relatively big. That's been true. I think that's still kind of held, maybe not as big as before. But as you mentioned, that 50 period is going to be key, especially like on Apple, on the NASDAQ. Apple has closed underneath it, and there's been selling at the 50 period on the daily on Apple. All you got to do is pull up a chart and see that it's been happening. And if you don't break that, I can't see any way the SPY isn't going to make a pullback. Apple's is too big of a name and too important. Thank you so much for all your thoughts. It's obviously great to have you every single week, Chris, but especially on a day like today. We got a 50 base point cut. We didn't know what we were going to get. You had lots of volatility in the market, which I believe we both agree is not going anywhere. I want to thank you for coming through and dropping some knowledge. I know everyone in our community appreciates you. Chris Brecher from Simpler Trading. Talk to you next week, and good luck with your trades.
All right. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
There we go. And another edition of Trader Talk. But you know what? It's already 4:30. We always want to give Chris some time to get through. But I want to give a big shout out and thank you to the entire team today, because it's always a big day when we have Fed. We get more viewers, more action. We change the schedule up. We come on early in the afternoon. There's always more volatility, as you guys know. So shout out to the production crew for doing a fantastic job with all the energy here today. That's Fabian and Ramin. And obviously, we have Fabian on the ones and twos. I got to thank Chris for stopping by. Oh, wait a minute. It's Ramin. Why did I think it was Fabian? Sorry, Ramin. The whole time I'm like, I thought it was Fabian, but you were very quiet over there, so thank you very much, Ramin. But I want to thank Bears versus Bulls. You know, the chat always gets really active when we have a lot of viewers and lots of questions in there. And best moderator in the business, making sure that we got all the super chats, because there were a few that we almost missed in there, and I was almost disappointed to see that we'd missed a couple. And thank you guys so much for continuing to come in, continuing to follow along, continuing to make our community grow and be better, because we can all grow as traders every single day, no matter how long you've been doing this, whether it's over 20 years like Sean and myself, or half that for Brendo and all the traders we have here on the floor. You know, everyone's going to start their journey at a different place, but we can all continue it together. So with that, it's roll call time, everybody. You know what up. Get your name in the chat, give thanks to our great community, and get your name thrown out there. And I'm going to start with Mike Breeze up there with a bit of a clap as well, shaking the hands. And of course, Bears versus Bulls, shout out to you. We got Michael G in the chat, NVIDIA buyer back after hours. Ooh, are they going to try and pop it so we can drop it tomorrow? That's kind of my thought. That's what I want to look at. Andrew Chow, thank you very much. Rivian Millionaire. We got Daniel in the chat. Eli7721. Hey, Davis. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. And we appreciate the bear as well. We'll see if we're still bearish tomorrow. I feel like it's going to be that. Daryl Flinch in the chat. Sinful Davy. Raju. Shankar. Almog as well. Pineapple Undies. Why not? Davion Wade. Brandon Townsend. Trey Only. Dollar bill, y'all. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. Dan McIsaac. Aaron Cool. Jai Singh. Gerard TV. We got Streamlabs still letting you know about the Moo deal. Sinful Davy in the chat as well. We got Jose, Heinrich, Pucho Hernandez, Michelle Walker, Havana Woody, Paul, Paco OR, Donkey Trader in the house, KK, stop, KK in the chat as well. Happy Zombie, All the Cream, Ulrich B, Yoel Reyna, CFAB23, The Real C True, Jeremy Newman, Raul, Adrian in the chat, Sensei Trolls, JHSF, Kyle Dubs. We got Daniel Melendez, Bora out, I see you, 100 mile per hour, dollar bills, y'all again. Ashton Lloyd as well. We've got Tay2 certified. Nope, not going to say that one. Starburst as well in the chat there. Freddie the Friendly Guy 2.0. Still waiting on the 1.0, Freddie the Friendly Guy. But shout out to all of you. The best thing about all of this, and I say it every time I get to do the aftermarket show, we get to come right back tomorrow at 8:30, trade these markets, get that volatility, get that coinage, learn what we can, and do it all over again. Every day, bigger and better. That's what it's all about. We're Trader TV Live, and we'll see you tomorrow, 8:30, bright and early.